Hey guys, I'm Jess, and welcome to the new and improved updated plant combo guide featuring Rikka, Sunavalon, Aroma, and Raika. This guide to the plant deck includes the new support for Aroma, Raika, and other well-known plant strategies. These new support cards have done so much for the deck, and I'm really glad that I'm finally able to showcase how much they can do. For combos, we have 17 combos and hands to showcase what these cards individually and in combination can do, and the different routes you can choose to take in your combos in easy to follow step-by-step guides to best learn the deck. On top of that, I've made a little tip section for 7 or 8 little tips and bits of advice on optimizing your combos and just generally playing this deck. I've got a lot of experience playing this deck. I've been playing it pretty much for the last 2 years straight, and I'm super passionate about this. So, I hope you guys enjoy. For our first thing to note, we are talking about Therion King Regulus, and Therions in general. So, the reason I'm talking about this is because of zones. So, if I go normal summon Loci, link 1, summon Dryas, effect a search, sowing, special, and I go through lily lines. Let's see, a special lily, grab Loci, send, grab Regulus, send itself, grab Regulus, and then special Regulus. I'm always special summoning Regulus into either this column or this column underneath the extra monster zones. The reason for this is these 3 zones you typically want to keep free for Jasmine tributes, or 2, you want to keep them free for level manipulation with Dance Peon. And you never really want to overlay with the Regulus, so you want to keep it free from those zones. So typically, when you're summoning Regulus at the start of a combo, you always want to summon it into this column, because especially through interruptions, you don't know when you're going to need those Jasmine tributes or those dance zones. The second thing I'd like to note with Regulus is, let's say you open this exact same hand again. You normal summon Loci, you link 1, you get Impermed on your Dryas. You can still go special summon Borea by equipping Loci, send Loci, add Disc Colosseum, use Disc Colosseum to get Regulus, link into Jasmine, and now in these situations, you can special summon this is the only kind of situation where you want to special summon Regulus into the middle column or one of the far zones, because you can always tribute Regulus with Jasmine. This comes up especially when the Dryas does get impermed and you don't have any form of plant extender. This is the time you summon Regulus into the middle zones, because you can then tribute it to full combo. The reason that I prefer to tribute the Regulus instead of just go Regulus pass is because quite often, or against pretty much every deck, Regulus pass isn't enough unless it's a very specific stun matchup. And in order to win the matchup, even though there is a risk of hand traps, it's much better to go all in to try and get access to your generic con just sheet, bigger endboard interruption engines, because one negate isn't going to cut it. And you're going to be trading 1-for-1 with that card in hand anyway, even if you tribute the Regulus. So, that's my first thing to note with Regulus. On to the next one. For our next tip, I would like to point out the usefulness of Rikka Glamour post-Raikas. So, if we, let's say, normal summon Loci, link 1 into Dryas, and they activate Infinite Impermanence on our Dryas. So, we could, in old builds, activate Glamour to add, let's say, Mudan, go Mudan into Con Sheet, and then pass turn there. But post-Raika, there's some pretty neat combos you can do that actually make Glamour into a huge extender. So instead of just going add Mudan, we'll go activate Glamour, tribute Dryas as cost, searching Raika the Evil Seed, and Petal. We can then activate Ragnaraika to summon from hand, discarding Petal, summoning itself, using the effect to search, searching out Samurai Beetle, and Bloom, then banish Samurai Beetle from hand, we can then activate Bloom. Bloom effect will summon the Samurai Beetle. And we can link off Samurai Beetle plus Seed. Summoning Soldier. Now, Beetle can then reborn back our Petal. Petal gets us, and then from here, we'll get Petal gets our search, so we can search for something like a Princess for protection. And then Soldier can reborn Seed, and we can go into Rosalina, or we can go into Jasmine, or other lines from here. So you can end up with a full combo from just like special summon, tribute, summon a Rosalina from deck, summon a Laurel, make a second Jasmine, chain one Jasmine search, chain two Jasmine search. So from just Glamour being able to tribute a plant monster, even without your normal summon, you're able to get to a pretty much full combo thanks to double search, Evil Seed, and Petal. Now, how else is Glamour's double search used? So the other double searches for Glamour in this deck are Lily Borea, plus, where are you? Snowdrop. So we can double search Lily Borea plus Snowdrop to get access to Lily Borea for protection early. Or you're going for Petal plus either Ragnaraika Evil Seed, which is the best combination. Another Rosalina, which is an optional starter, or Lifegain. Obviously, SNC Genius Loci, or Laurel as an extender, we have higher life. Now, in the past builds, we've played cards like Rikka Fairy, Primula the Rikka Fairy. Primula plus Princess is a very, very commonly used combo, because you go Glamour, tribute a monster, add Primula Princess, special Princess, and instant Strenna. However, in more modern builds, now that we have so many more extenders, you don't need that Primula, as your main ways to make access to Strenna are via either Snowdrop, targeting to make everything level 4, or Dance Peon level manipulation. So in general, we don't need the Primula, and as it's a brick, and it comes up less and less. The main use for Glamour is either going to be doing singular adds, or adding, generally speaking, the combination of Evil Seed and Petal, because the combo is so strong with them. Glamour Double Search is definitely a better tool when you play the Raika package compared to when you don't play it. Like, I was considering cutting Glamour to 1 pre-Raika, however, the card is very, very strong with that package, especially with the Double Search and just being an additional extender. That's it for this tip. I think, yeah, always bear in mind the Rikka Glamour Double Search, but remember, you don't need to tribute. Just because this combo is broken, it doesn't mean you always have to go for it. It is weaker in just doing that kind of search instead of doing singular searches for things like Snowdrop can be weaker into hand traps like Ash, or weaker into interruptions like Droll and Lockbird. Anyway, that's it for this tip. Our third note is regarding Lifegain. So Lifegain, to trigger the effects of Aroma Jasmine in your extra deck to get additional searches, is pretty essential to this deck strategy, especially now post the new Aroma support. However, when you start off with effects like normal summon Rosalina, effect summon from deck, and then use Laurel effect immediately, or you start off with Blend to get Humid, and have to start off with your gain effects like at the very, very start of the game, it can get more difficult towards the end of the combo to trigger your life gain. One quite important thing I'd like to note with this, especially when you're doing free head combos, is the effect of Aromalilith Rosalina in hand. I would also like to mention when I'm talking about this, is that Aromaseraphie Angelica also does this if you opt to play Angelica. However, I believe that's currently an unnecessary brick, although the card is good. So, the way to get around this is by adding the Rosalina as one of your Jasmine searches. The best example is if you're in situations where you have Rosemary Jasmine, and you have a twin in graveyard, we'll grab a Sunseed twin into our graveyard, and a second copy of Jasmine in grave. Let's say we've already used our Laurel effect again, and we'll use Blend to get Humid. And we'll just grab, yeah, this is perfectly fine. So from here, if we use effect of Humid to gain, we can use our Jasmine to searching out a Rosalina, And then if we have higher life or any form of extender, we fusion summon or use our extender, go into Magnolia, 2 Jasmines into a 3rd Jasmine, and use effect of Twin, banish Rosemary, summon back Jasmine, then Rosalina effect target Jasmine to gain 900 and trigger Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. So, although the first Jasmine that we triggered with Humid Winds to search the Rosalina didn't gain much value, you have to think ahead in your combos, and especially when freehanding, it's a mistake that I know I make as well, is not thinking ahead as much, and in some kind of combos, and searching Rosalina to get the extra damage or life gain trigger to trigger 2 Jasmines is worth the cost of using 1-up. That's something that I think goes for most combos, especially when you're going through hand traps. This line is very common in a lot of the combos that I've shown in this guide. On top of it is a very common line through hand traps to get back to your 2 additional Jasmine searches. Choosing which card to start with. Although this may seem quite self-explanatory, because Plant plays so many different cards to start their turn with, it can be quite difficult to think of which one do you start with. Even going second, the obvious card, if you drew this hand right now, the obvious card that you would always play first, you'd think would be Unexpected Die. However, in some situations, this may not necessarily be the case. So if you're going second with this hand, we draw an additional card, I probably wouldn't start with Unexpected Die, and would instead use other cards to bait out interactions because Plant is seen as more vulnerable on the normal summon, and then use Die as an extension later on, as with Glamour, it's going to be quite easy to clear my own board with the double tribute to get 2 searches. However, for going first and playing through hand traps, typically the best start is always going to be, for a general rule, normal summon Loci. Because, especially, as soon as you go Link 1 into your Dryas, the Dryas, even though it isn't always a choke point, is seen as the deck's major choke point. And for good reason. So the Dryas is either, 1, quite often interrupted by an Impermanence, forcing out interruptions that you can then use the rest of your hand to play through. And 2, because when you search that Sunvine Sowing, if I can just grab it out, and you get Droll and Lockbirded, the Sunvine Sowing is still providing 3 bodies to your field, which is then going to net you additional monsters as we keep going. Because that will then turn into a Jasmine, which is going to summon a Petal, which is going to dump a Princess, which is going to go into, then you're going to go into a Dance Peon. There is a long list of lines after you get the Sowing, because it gets you 3 additional bodies. And there's no other singular search in the deck that through Droll will get you that much advantage. So, yeah, generally speaking, the search you always want to try and go first for, when you are going first, is Dryas. Going second, it may vary slightly more, but this is quite commonly because sometimes when you're going second into a board, you can't play around the Droll, and you have to try and bait out some of their interactions first. Another infamous interaction with Rikka Sunavalon is the Dryas Crash. If your opponent happens to have, let's say, a monster with defense points in defense position, even if you have combo pieces, sometimes to just force out interaction or get to an additional extender that would help you push through interaction, it's worth wasting your battle phase to crash that Dryas into defense position monster to either force out something like an Imperm, or to get use effect of Dryas, summoning Healer, and gaining the extra 300 life points, getting you that additional extender. After ICS Dortmund, this is something that is known about, however, people forget more often than you'd think. Now, what if they don't have the defense position monster? Well, there's 2 things to note, which is 1, if there is a Sowing engrave, you can banish the Sowing to protect the Dryas, and then summon the Healer. There are also, the big one for me, that I think is really important, is Therion Discolosseum. People forget that let's say we've summoned a Borea and we activate our Disc Colosseum. If we then attack with a Dryas into Borea, we can protect our Dryas from dying by battle with Disc Colosseum. We'll just send a third copy of Lily Borea here to protect the Dryas, and then we can extend grabbing our healer. The other thing to note with this is Dryas triggers off any battle damage. It doesn't have to necessarily attack itself. So, for example, if our opponent had Lily Borea in defense position, I'm not saying this is correct, but in some situations, you can always go Lily Borea attack into Lily Borea, because you will still lose 100 life off that, which will still trigger the Dryas, but you have significantly decreased risk. So if they decide to imperm your Dryas, and if you don't want to lose, or you can't afford to lose the 2,500 life in case they have an imperm, just crashing the Lily Borea so you only risk 100 life is significantly safer, because Dryas will trigger off any damage, not just damage involving itself. I think this is just a really valuable tip, especially playing through boards. Being able, although it's a bit less common now, we have one Dryas, being able to use Dryas as an extension tool is super, super valuable. The other cool one that I'd like to mention with attack position monsters is Aroma Jasmine. If you just have, we'll just throw a monster onto the field. Let's say we have this, and we don't immediately, our Jasmine to summon from deck has been ashed, or we don't want to immediately use it. Be able to go link 1 into Dryas, if we've not already used it. Jasmine can then attack into the Borea, and we either protect it with Sowing, by banishing from grave, or, because Jasmine's effect says that if we have higher life points than our opponent, itself and monsters it points to cannot be destroyed by battle. So we can then use that to protect itself or protect the Dryas, whichever attacks. Dryas will then trigger in damage step, summoning healer, the healer effect to gain, and then Jasmine will then trigger in damage step and cannot be ashed, because it's still in damage step, the effect to gain. So you're getting your additional extender, and you're then... Also, it's chain blocked. I forgot to mention that. Because the Dryas effect is to gain, on res it will be chainlink 1 Jasmine to search, chainlink 2 healer to gain, so it's even further blocked from interruptions like Solemn Strike. This is just another cool interaction that I think is kind of relevant and does come up one in every probably 30 to 40 games, which doesn't seem like a lot, but you can play 30 games in 10 rounds at a YCS. Anyway, that's the little bit of Dryas crash advice. We'll go on to the next one. Another monster I'd like to talk about is Ragnaraika Skeletal Soldier, or any of the Ragnaraika links that are plants, to be honest. Even if you're not playing the Ragnaraika package, like I currently am, this card is still very, very valuable. So there's a couple of ways or timings that it can come up in combos that I think are worth mentioning. First of all, especially when you're going through Loci lines, and you end up with Dryas, Healer, Twin, and Loci, when you have additional extenders on top of this, let's say you have a Princess already on field for whatever reason, being able to go Healer plus Princess into Skeletal Soldier, and then Skeletal Soldier plus Dryas into Rosemary, then continue on your combo, and then nearer the end or later on in the combo, being able to then use Skeletal Soldier to bounce back the Rosemary, to then allow you to have Rosemary as a follow-up card, can be quite valuable. I'm not saying to do this in this kind of set combo, I'm just saying when you're doing free-hand combos, and these kind of situations can come up, where recycling Rosemary is key to your grind game. You get a whole different dimension of grind game by returning this card to your extra deck for turn 3. Another thing to note of bouncing is bouncing the Dryas or Healer themselves. So if you have Dryas or Healer in grave, you can use Skeletal Soldier to bounce back, like Healer back to extra deck, then link off straight away into your link 3, summon Rosemary to get a search. And then later on in the combo, this means that if you have double Jasmine engrave, along with your twin, you can either make Melius to run back Loci, or if you just kill outside Loci on the field, being able to go link 1 into healer, and then twin, banish your healer, because you bounced it back to the extra deck, to run back Jasmine, instantly turns a link 1 into a link 2. That's another reason why, during some combos, especially with Rosa, there are some lines where I keep the healer on field, because I can instantly use twin to change that link 1 healer into a link 2 monster. That kind of interaction makes Skeletal Soldier really, really valuable, because it lets you recycle either link 1 resources to help you climb, or saves cards for your grind game, like saving Rosemary, or even Jasmine. Because in a lot of combos, using the effect of Jasmine, we have to use all 3-4 searches to be able to resolve our full combo. And especially through interruptions, sometimes you can't get to all your resources with just those 4 searches because you have so many engines. So being able to go Skeletal Soldier to recycle one of those Jasmines, because the effect when you've gained is soft once per turn, you can then potentially summon it again, and then get that 5th trigger, get that 5th search, which is absolutely absurd, but it's something that will come up in combos, especially I think going second into boards. In general, I think the Skeletal Soldier bounce is very, very important, and is a tool that it takes practice to utilize, but it's really, really valuable in helping improve your grind game. I think the key one to note is definitely in Distress is bouncing this Rosemary back to your extra deck is so valuable because of how strong it is in the grind game, just having that extra removal option. Another little quick tip I'd like to give is regarding Aroma Jasmine. So I've shown it in quite a lot of the combos, especially the Rosa and Predaplant lines. But I think it's a really important concept to note, so we're going to quickly go over and just highlight the Jasmine Tributing Lonefire combos. So it's a very good concept to know, because it's one that you make through a lot of interruptions. So let's say this example. We have a few cards in our grave. They're just random cards I've milled, to be honest. So we're able to extend our 2 monsters. Let's say we've used our Lily search targets, we're just using it as an extender. Go into Jasmine. So through interruption, if we're able to make a Jasmine, and we can distribute any monster it points to, or we can normal summon, let's say, a hand trap. So especially when you open things like Princess plus Lily, or just doing special summon only combo, or let's say Unexpected Die. If for some reason your Dryas gets recycled or something. Be able to normal summon a hand trap, or any card, into the Jasmine zone, then use Jasmine Tributing it to summon out Lonefire Blossom, then use Lonefire Blossom Tributing Jasmine to go into, I'm just going to pick these cards up, to go into Loci, and then go Loci into Dryas, add Sowing, use Sowing, to then just amass your full board. We just grab a twin to show how much you get. There you are. It's in my hand the entire time. So you can still amass this full board. Now, you've already used Jasmine Summon from deck, but that doesn't really matter, because you're still able to get into Rosemary, and then Rosemary's going to be able to get Blend or Lifegain triggers. They're then going to be able to trigger your Jasmine searches, and searching cards like Mudan and Snowdrop is just as good, if not better, than summoning them from deck. This is a very quick tip. It's just to highlight that, especially through interruption, just being able to go for Jasmine into Lonefire, Tribute Jasmine to get Loci is probably the best tool through interruption that I can give anyone playing this deck. As for note 8, have fun and experiment. With this deck, there are thousands of combo options, and there's so many to explore. Especially when you're playing through boards and just gaining experience with the deck, you will find combos and different routes that you lean towards and enjoy the most. learning that kind of thing is just, for me, what makes the deck fun. You learn your preferences, and you get to just explore potentially thousands of combo routes, because your opponent's always going to have different cards, you're always going to have different cards. It's not just set linear combos, because as much as we have the set one card Loci combo, you're not always going to have just that set one card with Loci. You're going to have 5 cards to play around and experiment with, work out what's good to start with, what's best into boards. So yeah, having fun, playing the game, and just experimenting is one of the best ways to learn the deck, and is the way that I fell in love with it myself. So that's it for the tips. That's my opinion on how it's best to learn the deck. It's just to have fun. Let's go into the main combos. For our first combo, we're starting with just Loci. This is going to be a combo without Raika. So, this is the base combo that I would use no matter what, pretty much. Normal summon Loci. Link 1. Special summon Dryas. Activate effect of Dryas. Add Sundyne Zoeing. Then we activate Sundyne Zoeing. Special summon Sunseed Twin. Chaining 1 Twin, target Loci. Chaining 2 Dryas summon from extra deck. This protects us from Bell. Summon Healer. And special summon back Loci. Sundyne Healer effect, target Dryas, gaining 300 life, puts us on 8,300. Link 2, special summon Jasmine. Effect Jasmine summoned from deck, attributing Twin as cost. Special summoning Aroma Laurel. Then we link 2. Summoning Aromalilith Jasmine. Effective Laurel in grave, we gain 500 life points. Because we gain life points, chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine, to get 2 searches of plants. Then we add Rikka Princess, and Therion Lily Borea. We are currently on 8,800 life points. We use effective Lily Borea in hand, targeting Laurel, summoning itself and equipping Laurel, and then effective Lily Borea, sending Laurel to graveyard to add Therion Discolosseum from deck to hand. You can target any plant in grave here. You could target Healer, which is probably slightly more optimal. Then we activate Discolosseum, use Discolosseum to search, add Regulus. Then link 3, and special summon out Rosemary. Effective Rosemary adds a Aroma card from your deck to your hand, and you're going to add Aroma Blend. We'll activate Regulus in hand, because we have a Therion Borea in grave, summoning it, equipping Borea. This gives us our first negation. Now we activate Aroma Blend. We discard a random card from our hand, so this is a Loci plus any card in hand to discard combo, to activate Humid Winds from our deck. Now, since we are still on higher life points, we're on 8,800, we can use Blend's effect to Fusion Summon by banishing Laurel and Healer from grave. We can Fusion Summon into Magnolia. We just need the extra plants as an extender here. So now we're going to link Jasmine plus Magnolia off into another copy of Jasmine. And now, because we have 2 copies of Jasmine in grave, we're going to banish Sunseed Twin and banish Rosemary as cost to special summon back a copy of Aromalilith Jasmine from our graveyard. Now we can use Humid to pay 1,000 life points, putting us on 7,800 life, to add Aroma Laurel from deck to hand. Then we can use the second effect of Winds to gain 500 life points, which will put us on 8,300. Because we gain life points, we can go chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine to search 2 plants, searching Snowdrop the Rikka Fairy, and Rikka Petal. Well, activate the effect of Snowdrop in hand, attributing Jasmine, summoning itself, and Petal. Now, because we will have higher life points, we can use the effect of Aroma Laurel in our hand to summon itself. Then we can go Jasmine plus Laurel, link 3, summon Sunavalon Melius, and use the effect of Sunavalon Melius to reborn back a Loci from our grave. Now we use the effect of Rikka Petal to add a Rikka monster from our deck to our hand, and we will add Mudan the Rikka Fairy. From here, effective Princess in hand, special summons itself, and then effective Snowdrop, target Princess, all our plants become level 4s. Now we can overlay with Petal and Princess to special summon a Rikka Queen Strenna. Here you can use the effect of Strenna to add back any plant. However, because I want to add back the Mudan because it's the best follow-up card to add back, I'm going to save that effect for later. I'll activate the effect of Mudan in hand, tributing Strenna, summoning the Mudan, and then to protect from Bell, because our combo has, thus far, aside from the effect of Twin, been pretty much immune to Bell. Chaining 1 Strenna, chaining 2 Mudan. Adding Concon, and then summoning Hyperiton and equipping the Strenna. You protect from Bell the entire time anyway, due to Regulus. Now, because our 2 monsters here level 4 still, we can then overlay for a second copy of Strenna. Then link 4 with Melius and Mudan to summon Bengalancer. We can use the effect of Rikka Sunavalon. We'll attach Snowdrop to add back Mudan, as it's the best follow-up plant to have in hand. And finally, we'll activate Rikka Concon. On activation, we'll use effect 5 Hyperiton to equip. It's optimal to do it on activation to avoid them chaining Ghost Ogre if you're using it on the effective set. And then we use the effective set using Concon, setting Rikka Sheet from deck. So you still have the 3 cards in hand that you get to choose, and all this is taken is a discard plus Loci. The intouch you have here is you have Hyperiton, which is a spell and monster negate. Well, it's one of those two. You get to choose which. You've got Regulus, which is an Omni negate for any card effect. A tribute take. Concon let tribute that card. A bounce. Whatever Strenna summons is going to be a teardrop, which is going to be another tribute. And you have Rikka Princess, which is another monster negation. On top of, because you've still got Humid Winds as well, you're then going to be able to go anytime, pay 1,000 to search a copy of Rosalina and have even more follow-up. That's it for the Just Loci combo without anything like Cactus Bouncer. On to the next combo. So, next up we have another normal summon Loci plus any discard combo. We're going for Cactus Bouncer this time. So this is a Cactus Bouncer line, and there are a couple of different variations of the end board you can end on here. We're just going to go for the one that I personally prefer, or that's one I'll showcase. So, we start with normal summon Loci, as per usual. Link 1, summon Dryas, effective Dryas, add Sowing. Then we activate Sowing, special summon Twin. Chaining 1 Twin, chaining 2 Dryas, special summon Healer, and then reborn back our Loci. Healer target Dryas, going to 8,300 life points. Then link 2, special summon Jasmine, then effective Jasmine, tribute Twin, special summon Laurel from deck. We're going to link 2 with Laurel plus Loci, summoning Jasmine, and using effective Laurel in graveyard, getting 500 life points, and then on resolution, chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine to add 2 plants from our deck, adding Therion the Borea, and Rikka Princess from deck to hand. Now we can activate effective Borea. We'll target something useless in graveyard, we'll target a healer, summoning by equipping healer, then effective Borea, sending healer, to add Therion Discolosseum. We can then activate Discolosseum to add Therion King Regulus from deck to hand. Now we're going to go link 3 with Borea and Jasmine to summon Aromalilith Rosemary, and then activate the effects to add Blend from deck to hand. Now we'll use Regulus, summoning itself and equipping Borea to get your first Omni negate on the field. So now we go activate Aroma Blend. We're going to discard a random card in our hand. We'll discard Call By here to activate Humid Winds from deck. Now we're going to activate effective Princess to summon itself, and then link with Jasmine plus Princess to make our second copy of Aromalilith Jasmine. This is going to allow us to just get an additional search in a minute in the combo. Now we'll use effective Humid Winds, paying 1,000. This puts us down to 7,800 life points to add Rosalina. Then use the effective Humid to gain life points, so we're on 8,300. Then chaining 1 Jasmine to search, chaining 2 Rosemary to summon, special summon Rosalina, and then, oh, wrong way, and then the search resolves, grabbing Mudan the Rikka Fairy. On resolution, effective Rosalina to summon from deck will then special summon out Aromage Jasmine. Now, we're going to use effective Twin in graveyard. Use Twin, banish as cost, banish Jasmine as cost, because we have 2 of our Jasmines in grave. We can then reborn Jasmine back. Now we'll use Rosemary effect, tribute Rosalina as cost, to banish Discolosseum. This means we're going to gain another 1,000 life points, putting us on 9,300. which will then trigger the effect of Jasmine to get another search, now adding our Cactus Bouncer, and triggering Jasmine to get a draw. So it's chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine there. Now we can use the effect of our Mood on the Rikka Fairy, Tribute Jasmine, Special, Effect of Search, adding Rikka Concon. Ideally you'd like to summon into these zones, just because the next turn be able to go Rosemary Tribute. Now we'll activate Concon, use the effect to set from deck, setting Rikka Sheet from deck, to prevent our opponent attacking over the Cactus Bouncer. We then use Blend to Fusion Summon, banishing Blend, banishing Rosalina, banishing Healer, Fusion Summoning out Aromalilith Magnolia to protect our board from card effects, and it's going to boost all our monsters' attack next turn. And then we just normal summon our Cactus Bouncer. And then we pass turn. So what are your other options with this combo? In this combo you can, instead of ending on Rosary Magnolia, you can end on Teardrop. However, because Magnolia has the attack boosting effect, because we can go draw phase, Humid Winds to search, searching out another copy of Rosalina, which you can then use for the attack boost, which will then trigger the Jasmine to draw. You don't really need especially because Cactus Bouncer is such a floodgate, you don't need the extra Teardrop, and having the protection effect, especially now decks like Tenpai playing Lightning Storm, it's just really strong. Anyway, this is my preferred combo for the Cactus Bouncer line with just Loci. On to the next combo. So for this combo, we're going to again start with just Loci. However, we're going to be impermanenced on the Jasmine. Now, you may be thinking, why wouldn't people just imperm on the Dryas? Well, because of the introduction of Aroma and Raika as having just additional extenders quite often, I've noticed the trend of people going for imperm on Jasmine an increasing amount. And although in some hands, especially if you have if you have multiple extenders with the other 4 cards in hand, that can be correct, it's interesting to see how we can play through and around it. So, with just Loci and Imperm on Jasmine, I'll show you what you can get. So, we'll start normal summon Loci, link 1, summon Dryas, use the effect to search Sowing, use Sowing, summon Twin, chainlink 1, chainlink 2, summon Healer, not summon Blend, summon back Loci, and use effect of Healer target Dryas to gain 300 life points. We'll link Dryas plus Healer into Jasmine, and then expect the effect of Jasmine tributing Twin as cost. Here, we're going to get Infinite Impermanence, so we just continue on playing. We link 3 into our Rosemary, we use the effect of Rosemary to search, add Blend, then we activate Blend by discarding any card in our hand, activate Humid from deck, we use effect of Humid, pay 1000 life points to search Rosalina, and then use Humid to gain 500 life points, putting us on 7800 to trigger Rosemary and special Rosalina from hand. Effective Rosalina will then activate, special Laurel from deck, and we link 2 into another copy of Aromalilith Jasmine. Laurel effect in Graveyard will activate to gain 500 life points, putting us on 8300, then effective Jasmine will activate to search, adding another copy of Rosalina to hand. Because we are now on higher life points, we can activate Aroma Blend Engrave, banishing Blend, banishing Laurel, and banishing Healer, to fusion summon out Magnolia. Now we'll link Jasmine plus Magnolia off into Jasmine, and banish Twin from Graveyard, banishing Rosemary as cost, then reborning another copy of Jasmine. We'll then use the effect of Rosalina in hand, discarding it, targeting Jasmine. We gain 900 life points, putting us up to 9200, and then chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine, we'll double search, Snowdrop, and Petal. Now, there's 2 different little variations of the lie here. Either you can go link 4 into Bengalancer, then tribute the Bengalancer for Snowdrop, use Petal to search Mudan, tribute to special Mudan, effect to search Concon, activate Concon, Concon set sheet, Snowdrop target itself, overlay for Teardrop, then reborn Bengalancer by banishing the Jasmines. So we can end on this end board, which is the bounce, with Snowdrop, oh sorry, Teardrop even, for tribute, and Sheet Concon. However, the thing we don't have here is Princess. The other option for our line is while we still have our 2 Jasmines on board, instead, the reason I didn't show this line initially, and this isn't the default line, is because not all builds are going to play 3 copies of Rosalina, and you need 3 copies of Rosalina in your deck to be able to complete this line, which is quite simply using Snowdrop in your hand, tributing a Jasmine, summoning both Snowdrop and Petal, Petal search Mudan, tribute Petal from Mudan, effect a search, get Concon, activate Concon, set Sheet, effect a Snowdrop on itself, then overlay for Teardrop again. And then during their draw phase, you go effect Humid Winds, pay to search out Rosalina. But because you're still on 8,200 life points, you're ahead of your opponent. This means you then can't again pay for Humid, use the effect of Humid to gain to trigger the Jasmine, which would search you out a Princess. And it means you have to play the 3rd Rosalina to then discard by targeting the Jasmine, to trigger the Jasmine to then search you your Princess. If you play the 3rd Rosalina, this is the optimal line. If you don't, you end on Begging Lancer instead of going for the Princess. And either way, you do still gain that additional interruption. That's the line playing through an Infinite Impermanence, and despite it not being the most impressive board, this is still 4 solid interrupts when they've hand-trapped a 1-card combo, and you still have multiple of your non-engine or your other cards in hand to play through. Because as a deck, Plant uses its entire hand to play through hand traps, rather than just 1 card typically. For our next combo, we are starting with Just Unexpected Die. So this combo varies very slightly from the Loci line because we still have our normal summon. This combo is going to be without Raika, as because you end up getting the same amount of searches no matter what, because you max out on 4 searches with Jasmine in this combo, the Raika cards don't actually add anything, or don't add that much to the base combo. So we're going to activate Unexpected Die, summoning, you guessed it, Sunseed Genius Loci. Then we'll link 1, summon Dryas, use Dryas effect, Shirt Sewing, and then use Sewing, summoning Twin. Chain 1 Twin, targeting Loci, chain 2 Dryas, summoning Healer, and special summoning back Loci. Healer effect, target Dryas, gain 300, and then link into Jasmine. Jasmine effect, summon from deck, tribute Twin, summon Laurel, and then link to summon Jasmine. Effect Laurel in graveyard, gain 500 life, then chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine, get 2 searches, search Lily Borea, and this time we're searching for Petal. We'll use Lily Borea first, targeting Healer in graveyard, equipping, and then Lily Borea sending Healer, add Disc Coliseum, and then use our Disc Coliseum, add Regulus. Link 3 into Rosemary, and use the effect of Rosemary, searching out, Aroma Blend. Now we can use the effect of Regulus to special summon itself, by equipping Lily Borea as a material, and now we normal summon Petal and use the effect to add Princess. From here we can use Blend. We'll discard random card from our hand, discard Call by the Grave, to activate Humid Winds from our deck. And now we'll just go Petal plus Jasmine to summon our 3rd Jasmine, and use the effect of Sunseed Twin in graveyard, bashing itself and Rosemary as cost, because we have 2 copies of Jasmine in our graveyard, to summon 1 back. We use the effect of Humid Wind to pay 1,000 life points, so we're on 7,800, to search, this time Rosalina, and then use the effect of Humid Wind to gain 500, then on res, chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine, to get 2 searches, searching out Snowdrop the Rikka Fairy, and Mudan the Rikka Fairy. We go ahead and use Snowdrop, tributing Jasmine as cost, summoning Snowdrop, summoning Rosalina, and then using the effect of Rosalina to summon another copy of Laurel from our deck. Now we can think off Jasmine plus Laurel for Melius, and use the effect of Melius to Reborn, summoning back Sunseed Genius Loci. Use the effect of Princess in hand to special summon itself, and then Snowdrop, target Princess, make all of our plants level 4. This lets us overlay for Strenna, and then we can activate Mudan, tributing Strenna, summoning itself, and then chaining 1 Strenna, chaining 2 Mudan, Mudan adding Concon, and Strenna summoning Hyperiton and equipping itself some material. Now we can replace this Colosseum to activate Concon, use the effect of Hyperiton to equipping this Colosseum, and then Concon effect set from deck, setting Rikka Sheet from our deck. We can now overlay these two for our second copy of Rikka Queen Strenna. I'm summoning in attack position for a very specific reason here. Then we'll go Melius plus Mudan, summoning out our Benglance the Resurgent. We'll use Rikka Queen Strenna, detaching Rosalina to add back Mudan the Rikka Fairy, because it's the best follow-up card in our grave. And then use the effect of Blend. So, this could be your end board, however, we still have Blend Diffusing grave. In some matchups like Fire King Snake Eye, you want to use the effect of Blend Diffusion Summon to protect your board. Some matchups, or against Tenpai for example, you also want to do that. In some matchups though, you don't. In this case, we'll just consider that we want to, because in playing blind, we're going to consider we want to. So banish Blend, banish Rosalina, banish Healer, and summon Magnolia. So during our opponent's turn, Humid can now search access to Rosalina, and then Rosalina can then gain life points, make up monsters immune by card effects, and give all because of Magnolia's effect, everything will gain 1,300 attack points. So this is the just unexpected die combo without playing anything like Cactus Bouncer. In general, when you're full comboing, there's a couple of things to note when starting with an unexpected die, especially if you go into interruptions like hand traps. One of the big ones is that because you don't use your normal summon when you as a starter, even if you can't, for example, get to your paddle, even being able to normal summon a card like a hand trap and then tributing it for Jasmine is a really, really valuable way to continue playing. Anyway, that being said, we're going to go on to our next combo. For our next combo, we're going to be doing a just unexpected die line, however this time it's going to be a Cactus Bouncer line. This may seem a little bit self-explanatory, because you do get the free normal summon since you start without your normal summon. However, I think some of the concepts of this combo are quite important, so I think it's good to showcase it. We'll start off with a kind of expected line. We'll use an expected die, summoning Loci, and then go through the same kind of Loci combo we normally do. Link one to Dryas, Dryas effect add Sowing, activate Sowing, summon Twin, chain link 1 Twin, chain link 2 Dryas, special summoning Healer, summoning back Loci, and then Healer effect to gain 300 life. Link 2, special summon Jasmine, then effect of Jasmine, tribute Twin, summon Laurel, and link 2 into a second copy of Jasmine. Here we use effect of Laurel Engrave to gain 500, putting us on 8,800 life, then chain link 1 Jasmine, chain link 2 Jasmine, to search Rikka Princess and Therion Lily Borea. We'll activate Lily Borea in hand, targeting something useless engraved, so we'll target Healer, summon Borea by equipping Healer, and then use Borea sending Healer to grab Therion this Colosseum. We can then use this Colosseum to search out our Regulus, and link 3 into Rosemary, using Rosemary's effect on summon to add Aroma Blend from deck to hand. Now we'll activate Regulus, summoning itself by equipping Borea just to get our first negate out. Now I'll use Aroma Blend, discarding a random card in my hand, we'll discard the Call By yet again, and activate Humid Winds from deck. I'll activate Princess Engraved in hand to special summon itself, and then go Princess plus Jasmine into another copy of Jasmine. From here we can now use Twin effect of Engrave, banish Twin, banish Rosemary, to summon back a copy of Jasmine, now we have 3, and use Humid Winds effect to searching out Rosalina. Now we can normal summon Rosalina, use the effect, special summon Aroma Jasmine, and now we get to use Humid Winds. So Humid Winds, because we've got lower life, because we're on 7,800, we'll go Chainlink 1 Jasmine to search, Chainlink 2 Jasmine to search, and then Chain Blocked, Chainlink 3 Aroma Jasmine to draw 1. So we'll draw a random card. And then both our Jasmines will get to search out Mudan and our Cactus Bouncer. So from here, we're going to go get rid of our 2 Aroma Jasmines to special summon out Sylvan Dance Peon. Now, you can use the effect. I'll say you'll use the effect, and then hit no plants, because it doesn't matter if you hit any plants here or not. We're now going to use effect of Aroma Blend, banishing it from graveyard, banishing an Aromage Jasmine and Sunvine Healer. You cannot banish Laurel from grave because you need it to stay in grave for this combo. And then we're going to fusion summon out Magnolia. We're then going to use Dance Peon in grave, targeting our Rikka Princess. Both become level 4, and we'll overlay into Rikka Queen Strenna. We're then going to use our Strenna, detaching Magnolia, or either material really, to more importantly add back Laurel. Now we're going to activate Laurel to special summon. Link Laurel plus Dance Peon into Melius, use Melius's effect, reborn back Loci, and then we'll go Loci plus Melius into Bengalancer. Now we can use Mudan's effect. Use Mudan, tributing Strenna, then Chainlink 1 Strenna, Chainlink 2 Mudan, Strenna summoning out Hyperiton, equipping itself from grave, Mudan adding Concon, and now quite simply, activate Concon, effect Hyperiton to equip, equipping our Spell Negate, Concon sets from deck, setting sheet, and we get our normal summon of Cactus Bouncer. Because we're on 8-3, we're on higher life, we get our additional normal summon. So the bonuses here are, next turn, we are going to get Humid Winds to search, searching out another copy of Rosalina, and then we can then gain and get Jasmine, get another draw, which is effect, or it's not going to be effect failure, but in this instance we'll just cast it as a non-engine as effect failure. So we get guaranteed more resources. We have a Spell Negate, a Omni Negate, a Bounce, we've got Sheet, Tribute Take, we've got Princess Engrave, we've got Concon, we've got a ton of follow-up. This is as good as it gets for a Cactus Bouncer line. This is as good as it gets for a Cactus Bouncer line. It's why the Dye version is improved over the just regular normal summon Loci combo, because we do get the additional spell negation. So that's it for this combo. Let's move on to the next one. So, the Rosalina combos. I'm gonna, full disclosure, these combos are a little bit of a nightmare to record, because there's 2 variants of the just Rosalina combo, and the routes go slightly differently. So there's the 2 main variants, and then the second variant is split off by whether you hit with Dance or not, and then you have the Cactus Bouncer line. So we're gonna have 4 different Rosalina combos. Obviously the combos will change very slightly whether you if you open an extender, but as I've said before, we're mainly going for the concepts. So for this one, we're going to go for the line without Dance. So this is the regular Rosalina line that does not summon Dance. So we're going to normal Rosalina, use the effect, summoning Laurel, link 2, special summon Jasmine, use the effect of Laurel in graveyard to gain 500 life points, effect Jasmine to search, searching Lily Borea. Activate Lily Borea, target Rosalina, summon equip, effect of Lily Borea send, search Disc Coliseum. And then we're going to activate Disc Coliseum to search. Now, you can either search Regulus or Lily Borea. Generally speaking, we're locked into plants already, but we're going to search Regulus to follow up. However, if you already have something like a Raika engine, for example, then you'll want to search Lily Borea to be able to discard the second Lily Borea for the Raika engine. Anyway, we'll add Regulus, and then use Jasmine effect to tribute, summon Lonefire, then use Lonefire's effect, attributing Jasmine, to summon Loci. This Jasmine summon Lonefire, Lonefire summon Loci, is a very, very strong, just general combo route through interruptions that I think everyone should remember playing this deck. Now we'll link 1, summon Dryas, use the effect, add sewing, use sewing, summon twin, then chainlink 1 twin, chainlink 2 Dryas, summoning healer, and then reborning Loci. Use healer effect, gain 300 life points by talking Dryas, so we're on 8,800 life now. Now we're going to link 1, 2, 3. Summon out Rosemary. Then use the effect of Rosemary to search blend. Then we'll link 2 to summon Jasmine. Here we'll just use blend. We'll discard, you can discard Regulus, but we'll just discard Call by here to activate Humid Winds from our deck. We'll use Humid Winds to pay 1,000 to search. We need to search Rosalina here. Then we'll use Humid Winds to gain 500 and trigger Jasmine's effect to search, searching out Princess. From here, because we have 8,300 life points, we're on higher life, we can banish Blend, banish Healer, and banish Rosalina to Fusion Summon. Fusion Summoning out Magnolia, then link Jasmine plus Magnolia into a second copy of Jasmine, and use the effect of Sunseed Twin in Graveyard, banishing itself and Rosemary, because we have 2 Jasmines in grave, to reborn back a Jasmine. Now we can use effect of Aromalilith Rosalina, discarding it, targeting Jasmine, and then gaining half the attack as life points, so we gain 900 life points. Then chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine to search, searching out Snowdrop and Petal. So there are 2 slight variations now which you can choose between. If you'd like to end on a Hyperiton negate, you're going to link these 2 into Melius. Use Melius to reborn Loci, and then use Snowdrop to tribute the Melius to summon Petal and Snowdrop. Use Petal effect to search out Mudan, special Princess, and then you can do the same line as normal with Snowdrop, make everything level 4. Overlay for Shredder. We'll use the effect of Shredder detaching just to add back our Lonefire. Use Mudan's effect, tributing Strenna, special link, chainlink 1, chainlink 2. Add Concon, summon Hyperiton. Then overlay for a second copy of Strenna, and finally replace Concon. Use Hyper to equip, and set Sheet from deck. This line gives you your Regulus and Lonefire's follow-up cards, as well as a spell negate. The weakness, and all your other Rikka negations. The weakness of this is this end board does lose hard, it doesn't completely lose, but it is more heavily impacted by super polymerization. The alternative route for this is, if we wind back very, very slightly, so while we're in this position, the alternative line is just to go Snowdrop effect, tributing Jasmine, specialing, use Petal effect to search, searching Mudan, using Princess to special, go make everything level 4, overlaying for Strenna, and then just using Mudan to tribute Snowdrop to search Concon, then go into Melius. Where's my Melius gone? Oops, there we go. We're running back Loci, and then going into Bengalancer. So, and then you're still getting your Concon set from deck, and attach to add back to hand your Mudan. So, although you do end on the same technical amount of negates, this is a weaker end board because of the Hyperiton negate. However, if you know your opponent's playing Super Poly, or is playing a deck that's likely to play Super Poly, or that becomes popular in the format, this end board is much more secure against super polymerization, despite being a bit of a worse end board. With that being said, let's move on to the next combo route. For our next combo, we're doing another Just Rosa line. However, this is a different variation of the Just Rosa line. This is a more high rolly line. So, this is the line that goes through Dance Peon and starts with Princess instead of Lily Borea. The reason this is important is because if you hit with the Dance Peon, you end on a Hyper with a spell negate on top of your board. However, if you miss, you still end on the exact same end board with Bengalancer Strenna, but you don't get the guaranteed Therions as follow-up. So the end board, if you miss, is slightly worse, but if you hit with Dance, it's slightly better. It's definitely better, it's more than slightly better. So it's a bit more of a risk-reward. So a combo, especially against decks like Tempai, this is the kind of combo where you need the Hyper Negate. This is the kind of combo you go for instead. So, starts off very, very similar to before, like almost the same, which is normal summon Rosalina, special summon Laurel, link to summon Jasmine, effect gain 500 life of Laurel, effect Jasmine to search Princess, instead of Lily Borea, we search Princess, activate Princess, special Jasmine tribute Princess, special Lonefire, tribute Jasmine, special Loci, link 1 summon Dryas effect search Sowing, activate Sowing, summon out Twin, then chainlink 1 Twin, chainlink 2 Dryas, summon Healer, summon Loci, and effect of Healer target Dryas, gain 300 life, going up to 8,800 life. Now, from here, the combo does change very, very slightly. We link off with the Twin and the Dryas, we have to keep the Healer on field. We summon Jasmine here, and then we link off the Jasmine for Rosemary. Now we use the effect of Rosemary to searching out Aroma Blend, and we'll just use Aroma Blend, discarding a card in hand, to activate Humid Winds. So from here, because we skipped through the Jasmine, we now have 2 engrave, so we can banish Twin, banish Healer as cost, and reborn back a copy of Jasmine. And then link Rosemary plus Lonefire into our second copy of Jasmine. Now we can use Humid Winds to pay to search, going down to 7,800 life to add Laurel, and then Humid gain, effect again, going up to 8,300 life, and chainlink 1 Jasmine, chainlink 2 Jasmine to get 2 searches, searching out Snowdrop and Rikka Petal. So from here, quite simply, we're going to go both Jasmines into Dance Peon. We'll use the effect to mill 3. Now, if we hit with Dance Peon, we have to end on a hyper board. If not, we just end on a regular Strenna board. So I'm going to show both examples here. So first, we'll just go with missing. So we don't hit anything. We're still going to go special summon Laurel, tribute Laurel, special summon Snowdrop and Petal. Petal effect will searching out... Oh, wrong card. Searching out Mudan. Then Dance will make them level 4s, targeting Princess Engrave, overlay for Strenna. Then, quite simply, you just use Blend, Fusion Summon, special summon you would have from hand by tributing, and you'll link line with Melius into Bengalancer plus Strenna with Concon sheet set, and you'll be able to add back your Mudan to hand. However, if you do hit with Dance Peon, your combo goes slightly differently. Just put these back. So if you do hit with Dance Peon, so we'll just mill 3. So we'll mill these 3. We'll mill, oh no, evenly Loci. So if we summon any plant with Dance Peon, we then go Snowdrop, Tribute, Special, Effect to search Mudan, Effect of Laurel to summon itself, Effect of Aroma Blend Engrave to Fusion Summon, so we'll banish Dryas and Laurel, summon out Magnolia, Effect of Dance Peon, target the Princess, make these both level 4, Effect of Snowdrop, target Petal, make everything level 4, and then we can just go for our fairly self-explanatory summon Strenna, Effect of Mudan Tribute Strenna, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, overlay for a second one, use Concon, effect of Hyper to equip, equips either what you discarded or Sowing if you have to, use the effect set from deck, get sheet, and then go special Melius, effect Reborn Loci, and then link off into Bengalancer. And then obviously effect to detach to our back Mudan. So we can see with this line that it is slightly more luck dependent, You do end on one less card in hand as follow-up, so we do not have the Regulus in hand as follow-up immediately next turn, but there is a fairly likely chance, especially with how high the plant count is in a lot of lists now, to hit that plant and end on the extra hyper negate. So if you're in a matchup where you think you need it, or you need the hyper negate, best example for me, Retempi, this is the line that I'd personally go for. So that's it for these rows of lines. Let's move on to the next one. For our next combo, we have another just Rosalina combo, this time going for the Cactus Bounce variation. So this is a combo that, admittedly, there's a couple of different lines for, but I know for a few people, myself included, it did take a little bit to get my head around these lines, but got there eventually. So the line that I typically use starts with, as you guessed, normal summon Rosalina, effect special from deck, special summon Laurel, link 2, summon Jasmine. Effect Laurel and Grave, gain 500. Effect Jasmine to search. Search Princess. There are some lines that can search Therion and Borea. However, this is just my preference line. Effect Princess special, then Jasmine effect, tribute Princess. Special summon Lonefire. Effect of Lonefire, once again tribute Jasmine. Summon Loci. Then link one with Loci. Summon Dryas. Effect of Dryas. Add Sowing. Then we can activate Sowing. Special summon Twin. And then Chainlink 1 Twin, Chainlink 2 Dryas. Dryas special summoning Healer, and Twin reborning back our Loci. Effective Healer will activate, target Dryas to gain 300 life. So there's a little optional step here that I like to do, which is, we're just going to quickly go Link Healer plus Twin, off into Ragnaraika Skeletal Soldier. So I've started playing this card over SP in my current list. But in general, it's just a nice card to put combo pieces back. This step's optional. You can just go straight in. You can just go ahead and go straight into your Rosemary if you'd like. Skeletal just lets you put back a card for your grind game, which is what I'm going to do later in the combo. Anyway, so we summon Rosemary, use the effect to search, add Blend. Then use Blend, discarding a random card from our hand, activating Healing Winds. Then we'll link Lonefire Blossom plus Cincy Genius Loci into Jasmine. We use effect Humid, paying 1,000 life points to search, searching Aroma Jasmine. Then using the effect to gain life points, gaining 500 life, putting us back up to 83. Then Chainlink 1 Jasmine to search, Chainlink 2 Rosemary to summon. Rosemary summons Jasmine. And we search Aromalilith Rosalina. So the reason we search Rosalina is because we're now going to go effective Blend to Fusion Summon because we have higher life. Banish Blend, Rosalina, and Healer. To Fusion Summon into Magnolia. Now we're going to go Jasmine plus Magnolia to special summon out another copy of Jasmine. And this is where I am going to use my Ragnaraika. Just use my Skeletal Soldier here to bounce back Rosemary and summon itself, because I'd rather have Rosemary in my extra deck for my grind game. Now I'll use the effect of Sunseed Twin, banish his cost, banish Skeletal Soldier's cost, and reborn back Jasmine, because we have 2 copies in our grave. Ooh. Now we're going to use the effect of Rosalina, discard it, target Jasmine, gain 900 life, and then we get Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3. So we draw a card with Jasmine. I also put a random non-engine card in my hand. And then both our Jasmines are going to trigger to get 2 searches. So we're going to grab a Mudan and a Cactus Bouncer. I'll link off the 2 Jasmines for not Rosemary, for Bengal Lancer. Then I'll use Mudan, tributing Bengal Lancer. Effective Mudan summon, adds Concon. Use Concon, Concon effect set from deck, sets Rikka sheet. Bengal Lancer effect in graveyard will reborn itself back by banishing 2 cards. We can just quite freely banish the 2 Jasmines here. And then we get to normal summon our Cactus Bouncer. And this Cactus Bouncer because of the additional normal summon from Jasmine. Then, during our opponent's turn, we'll be able to pay with Humid to search, allowing us to get another copy of If You Play 3, Rosalina, and then when you gain life points again, you'll then be able to draw again with Aroma Jasmine. So there are a couple of little things with this line where you could end on certain other monsters. An example being, you can end, instead of ending on Bengalancer, you can end on Rosemary plus Jasmine. In some lines, just to get additional searches. However, I prefer to end on Bengalancer because you don't end on that many interruption cards outside of things like Cactus Bouncer. Also, you're quite free to out Cactus Bouncer yourself as long as you try and keep Mudan around for concept from deck. You can quite easily out the Cactus Bouncer yourself because you do still have 3 other cards in hand plus a draw from Jasmine. Then on the following turn, you're getting another draw from Jasmine. And obviously, you still have the Princess in Graveyard and the Sheet as tribute negates. Anyway, this was the Cactus Bouncer line for Rosalina that I prefer personally. On to the next combo. For our next combo, we have the Just Evil Seed combo. So I've been through a couple of iterations of this combo. However, this is the one I prefer because we get to return Rosemary for the extra deck, so we get extra follow-up. Because having Rosemary in the extra deck is amazing for follow-up. Also, huge thanks to Laura for helping me out with this combo because, yeah, we've been through a few iterations of this. So we start off with Evil Seed, effect of Evil Seed, search Bloom, search Beetle, and then banish Beetle. Then we activate Bloom, Bloom effect summon Beetle, and then link 2 into Skeletal Soldier. Now we use the effect of Beetle to special summon back the Evil Seed, and link 3 into Rosemary. Then on summon, use the effect of Rosemary, Rosemary search out, Blend. Now we can use Blend, roll a random card in our hand, this time called by, to activate Humid Winds from our deck. Now we're going to activate the effect of Humid Winds to pay to search, searching out Aromalilith, Rosalina, then using the effect of Gain, and effect of Rosemary to special from hand, special summon Rosalina, then effect of Rosalina, grab Laurel from our deck. Now we're going to activate effect of Ragnaraika Skeletal Soldier, returning Rosemary to our extra deck, which is, so in Plant especially, having a Rosemary back in extra deck is way more valuable than any amount of cards in hand. Having extra deck resources left is the best thing possible for your grind game. So we special summon Skeletal Soldier, and then use the effect of Skeletal Soldier to summon back Evil Seed again. Now we link Skeletal Soldier plus Evil Seed into Jasmine, and then link Laurel plus Rosalina into a second copy of Jasmine. Laurel will trigger in Graveyard to gain 500 life points, then chainlink 1 Jasmine, chainlink 2 Jasmine, searches out another copy of Rosalina because we're going to need an additional way to trigger Lifegain, and Rikka Princess. Now we go effect Jasmine, tribute Jasmine as cost, summon Lonefire Blossom, and effect of Lonefire Blossom, tribute Jasmine, summon Loci. This is the same style of setup as we see with the Rosa lines, and we're just going to go link 1, summon Dryas, effect of Dryas, grab Sowing, use Sowing, summon Twin, and chainlink 1 Twin, target Loci, chainlink 2 Dryas, special summoning Healer, and reborning our Loci. Not sure why that's gone engraved, but oops. Yeah, the Princess stays in hand here. Effective Healer, target Dryas, gain 300 life points. That now puts us back on 8,300, so we are now back on higher life. And we link with these 2 into Jasmine, because we need the Twin in Graveyard and we need to keep the Healer on field, because we're now going to banish the Twin, banish the Healer, and reborn back Jasmine because we have 2 in grave. Now we can use the effect of Aromalilith Rosalina, discarding it, targeting Jasmine to gain 900 life, and then chainlink 1 Jasmine, chainlink 2 Jasmine to get the double search of Petal and Snowdrop. Now we can activate Snowdrop, tributing Loci, summoning itself and Petal, then using the effect of Petal to search, Petal searching out Mudan. Now use the effect of Rikka Princess to summon itself, then overlay with Petal and Princess for our first copy of Rikka Queen Strenna. I'm going to choose not to use the effect of this Strenna. That's mainly because I'd like to get a more valuable add back, as I can't currently. So I'll use the effect of Mudan, tributing Strenna, summoning the Mudan, and then chainlink 1 Strenna, chainlink 2 Mudan, summoning Hyperiton, equipping the Strenna, and searching out Concon. And then we're going to overlay Lonefire Blossom and Snowdrop to grab the second copy of our Strenna, and link Jasmine plus Mudan into Melius, Melius Vector Reborn, reborning back Loci, and then linking Loci plus Melius into Bengalancer. Now we'll activate Strenna, detaching Lonefire, just to add back a copy of Mudan, because it's the best follow-up card in our grave, and use Concon with effective Hyperiton to equip. Here we only have whatever we discarded, Blend and Sowing's potential spells. For now, I'll just equip Sowing. Concon will set from deck, setting Rikka Sheet, and we are still able to activate Aroma Blend in our graveyard, banishing Blend, banishing Laurel, and banishing Dryas to special summon Magnolia from our extra deck. So why is the sideboard so good? Well, we still have our standard Hyper Negates when Strenna's distributed. We've got the Bengalancer. We also have Magnolia, and we have Humid Winds, so we can go effective Humid Winds to grab out another copy of Rosalina from deck. Rosalina can then target Magnolia to gain. We gain 1300 life points, then all plants gain 1300 attack and combat by card effects due to Magnolia. Jasmine will also then trigger to get a search because we gained life, searching out Therion, Lily, Borea. And you can see we're just gaining significant hand advantage on top of all of our interrupts. The other bonus thing to note, also the reason we summon Strenna attack is because it combos by card effects. The other bonus thing to note is Super Poly. You want to be Super Polyed here, because the only way that you can be Super Polymerization here is with your Bengalancer and your Jasmine. Bengalancer here, this Jasmine only gets you additional follow-up, it doesn't really do that much. The Bengalancer is going to reborn itself from grave anyway next turn, and is your weakest form of interruption. So them going -1 and summoning a dead monster on field, just to get rid of your one worst interruption, is a worthwhile trade for you. You want to get Super Polyed there. And none of the rest of this can be Super Polyed. So, again, thanks Laura for helping out with this combo, and we'll move on to our next one. Now for what might be the craziest combo. So this is an Anti-Nibiru combo with Evil Seed plus any plant card. So we're going to use Lily Borea as our example here because it's dead initially. So yeah, this is Evil Seed plus any plant. This combo will play through Nibiru, or allows you to make pretty much full combo through Nibiru, as well as having extra follow-up in extra deck, because you'll have Rosemary left in extra deck, and even more. Because the Embold will play around Super Poly and gains additional follow-up cards. So this is, in my opinion, the craziest combo in the deck, so we'll go ahead and get into it. So we'll use effective Evil Seed in hand, summoning itself by discarding Borea, then use the effective Evil Seed, searching Bloom and Beetle, and then banish Beetle. We'll then use Bloom, use the effective Bloom to summon Beetle, and link 2 into Skeletal Soldier. So we don't use the effect Skeletal Soldier. We're going to use the effect when link summoned of Beetle to summon Evil Seed, which is 4 summons, and then link 5th summon into Rosemary. On summon, we use the effect of Rosemary to search Blend. Now, although we're on our 5th summon, because we haven't used our normal summon, Blend being able to get us access to Rosalina through Nib means that Nib doesn't do anything because Rosalina is full combo through it. So we're going to use Blend, discarding Crossout, to grab Humid Winds. Now, the cool play is where we're going to use Skeletal Soldier effect now, to bounce back our Rosemary, summoning Skeletal Soldier. Now we have Skeletal Soldier on field, we can now use the effect, special summoning Evil Seed back from our graveyard. And now we'll link with Evil Seed and Soldier into our Aroma Jasmine. Because we have Humid Winds, we're now going to pay a K to search, searching Rosalina. And then because we're lower on life, we're now on 7,000 life, we're going to use Humid Winds to gain 500 life, putting us on 7,500, and Jasmine will activate, adding Rikka Princess. We can now activate Rikka Princess in our hand, special summoning itself. Now, this is the last time you can get nibbed before you have a negate, and if they do nib you, you still have normal summon Rosalina into your full combo, like combos we've shown in other combos. So we'll use Jasmine here, treating Princess, to special summon Petal to get our negate live. Then from here, we can just use the effect of Petal to search, adding Snowdrop, and normal summon Rosalina, using the effects, summoning Laurel. Now we'll link with Laurel plus Jasmine, going into another copy of Jasmine, and Laurel will trigger in Graveyard, gaining 500 life, then Jasmine will trigger, so we're getting 500 life, we're back on 8,000, Jasmine will search out Lonefire. And now we'll use Lonefire, tributing Jasmine, summoning Snowdrop and Lonefire. Thing to note here is the Snowdrop needs to be summoned in one of these 3 zones, preferably the middle column, for this combo line. So, from here, I'm going to link off Rosalina plus Petal, and I'm going to summon out Sylvan Dance Peon. I'm not going to use the effect of Dance Peon to mill, because it makes it slightly more... If we hit 2 and I summon them, it can actually make your zone slightly more cloggy. Through interruptions, 100% use the effect of this. However, we only really need it for the level manipulation effect. So, I'm going to use the level manipulation effect, targeting Princess in my graveyard, to make Snowdrop level 4. Now I'm going to use effect of Lonefire Blossom, tributing the dance, summoning out Loci. Then link one with Loci, go into Dryas, use Dryas effect, search Sowing, activate Sowing, special summon Twin, then chainlink one Twin, chainlink 2 Dryas, summoning Healer, summoning Loci, and then Healer target Dryas, gaining 300 life. This puts us on 8,300 life points, so we're now higher life points than our opponent. At this point, we're going to use effect of Snowdrop, targeting itself. So because Snowdrop was made level 4 by Dance, and it's targeting itself, all plant monsters we control are now level 4s. This is really, really important, because this means we get our double Strenna. So just to collect from zones, I'm going to overlay Snowdrop and Twin for our first copy of Strenna. I'm going to use Strenna here, detaching Twin. It's important that you detach Twin. Like, you have to detach this. And we're going to target Rosalina to add it back. This is going to give us another way to gain life, to trigger more Jasmines. From here, we're going to activate the effect of Blending Graveyard, banishing it, because we're on higher life, banishing Laurel. And we're just going to banish anything, really. You can banish Dance. To fusion summon into Magnolia. Now I'm going to link Dryas plus Magnolia into the third copy of Jasmine. And this is a really cool interaction that I like, which is just using Twin Engrave, banishing Twin, banishing the Healer, to summon back a Jasmine because we have 2 in our grave. And now we can activate Aromalilith Rosalina, discarding it, targeting Jasmine, we gain 900 life points, and that will trigger chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine, to double search Mudan and Lily Borea. So, here, we're going to use effect of Mudan, tributing Strenna as cost, summoning Mudan, chainlink 1 Strenna, chainlink 2 Mudan, special back, summon Hyper, equip Strenna, and then effect of Mudan. Searches not Disc Coliseum, searches Concon. Well, overlay Lonefire Blossom and Loci for a second copy of Strenna. And now we can activate Therion Lily Borea in hand, summoning itself by equipping Dryas, then Borea can use the effect, sending Dryas, searching Disc Coliseum, and we'll use Disc Coliseum, searching Regulus. Then we'll activate Concon, use effect Hyper to equip. Concon will set from deck, setting sheet. And finally, we get to just hard link 4, into Bengalancer. Now, why is this combo so good? So we are technically super valuable in this combo because we have these two Emerald pieces. However, that's fine because they're both plant lights. They end up having to summon Garura, and because that doesn't protect from target or anything, you still have Hyper Strenna Sheet. Sheet, Bloom. You'll get Bengalancer back next turn. You still got all your follow-up with Petal. You've still got Princess. You've still got Concon. And they're on 4 cards in hand versus about 5 or 6 interruptions. So Super Volley, perfectly fine. And then you've still got all your regular negations, including Regulus and follow-up on top. The other thing is because we've ended on Jasmine with higher life, what it points to can't destroy a battle. So depending on the matchup, you can also end up having it pointing to the Strenna instead, so that the Strenna can't destroy a battle against decks like Kashtira. Otherwise, having them for this is just quite nice because of Tempai. For follow-up, you're then going to have Humid to search, searching Rosalina. Then Rosalina can trigger the Jasmine to get any search, and just give you so much more follow-up. And this was all through a Nibiru, because if they Nibiru you, you just summon Rosalina in full combo anyway, as we've shown in previous combos. Yeah, there's not much else I can say about this. The combo is insanity. I'm very, very impressed by this combo. And with that being said, we'll move on to the next one. But what if they do have Nibiru? This time we're going to showcase the Evil Seed plus Plant combo, but they are going to be using Nibiru at the optimal time and summoning the token to the optimal zone. How do we play through it? Well, let's go through it. I'm going to put Nibiru to the side for a second because he'll be needed in a minute. We start off, as we did before, special summon Evil Seed by discarding Borea, effective Evil Seed, adding Bloom, adding Beetle, and then banishing Beetle. We'll activate Bloom, use the effect of Bloom, special summon Beetle, then link off into Skeletal Soldier. Use the effect of Graveyard of Beetle, summons back Seed, then link Seed plus Skeletal Soldier into Rosemary. Now we can activate the effect of Rosemary, add Blend, then activate Blend, discarding a card to activate Humid Winds from our deck. Now, we can activate the effect of Skeletal Soldier here, bouncing back the Rosemary, because we're going to need that later, summoning Skeletal Soldier, then using the effect on field to special summon Evil Seed. Now we can link 2 with Skeletal Soldier plus Evil Seed into our first Aromatherapy Jasmine, and use effective Humid to search, paying a K, searching Rosalina. Because we are on lower life points, we can use Humid Wind's effect to gain 500 life, putting us on 7-5, then effective Jasmine to search, searching out Rikka Princess. We'll use effective Rikka Princess, special summon itself, and then our opponent is going to drop the Fated Nibiru. So they'll summon Nibiru by tributing our field, and they're going to summon Nibiru to one of the zones underneath the extra monster zone, because that's optimal. If you're playing against Plant in a mirror match, or you're just playing this deck, always summon Nibiru under one of the extra monster zones, because if you summon them to either of these 3 zones, they will get the monster you summon will get tributed by Jasmine, and they'll get free advantage and resources from it. So we'll continue, because we still haven't used our normal summon, we can then still normal summon Rosalina, use the effect, summoning Laurel, and then linking Laurel plus Rosalina into Jasmine. Laurel affecting Graveyard will activate, gaining 500 life points, putting us back on 8,000, then Jasmine will trigger, searching Lily Borea. We can now activate Lily Borea. We're going to target Rosalina in Grave, summoning it, equipping Rosalina, then using Borea, send Rosalina, add Disc Colosseum, and Disc Colosseum adds Regulus. This just gives us follow-up for next turn. We'll then use effective Jasmine, tribute the Borea as cost, to special summon Lonefire, then use Lonefire, tributing Jasmine, to summon Sunseed Genius Loci. We will link our Loci into Dryas, and use effective Dryas to add Sowing, then activate the Sowing, special summoning Sunseed Twin, and chainlink 1 Sunseed Twin targeting Loci, chainlink 2 Dryas, summon Healer, special summon back Loci, An effective healer, target Dryas, gaining 300 life points, putting us on 8,300, so that we are now on higher life points than our opponent, which is important because of Blend in Graveyard for later in the turn. Now, from here, we're going to go Dryas plus Twin plus Loci, linked off to special summon back the Roseberry. And because Twin's in grave, and because we have 2 copies of Jasmine, we can now banish Twin, banish Healer as cost, and reborn back a copy of Aromatherapy Jasmine. And now, because our life points are still higher than our opponents, we can use the effect of Blend in Graveyard, banishing Blend, banishing Rosalina, and banishing the Dryas from Graveyard to fuse into Aromalilith Magnolia. We'll now link Lonefire and Magnolia off into our 3rd copy of Jasmine and use Rosemary's effect. So Rosemary lets us tribute a monster it points to, so it tributes the token off, gets rid of that. To banish a card on the field, it does target, we'll banish the Nibiru, and then we gain 1,000 life points. This will then trigger Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 of both of our Jasmines, putting us on 9,300 life points and searching Snowdrop plus Petal. We'll then use Snowdrop, tributing Jasmine, summoning itself, and Petal, and then we'll just use the effect of Petal, just search Mudan. From here, we're going to link Rosemary plus Jasmine off into Sylvan Dance Peon and use the effect to mill 3. We're going to assume that we miss here, so we'll just mill Vela, Vela, and Vela, and then use Dance Peon's effect, targeting Rikka Princess in Graveyard, making Snowdrop a 4, and then Snowdrop can target itself, making every plant on field a 4. If we happen to hit here, the only difference if we hit a plant here is that the add back from Strenna doesn't need to be Laurel. So here we're just going to overlay for Strenna and use Strenna's effect, detaching Petal to add back the Laurel from grave. And then because we are on higher life points than our opponent, we can then special summon the Laurel. Then link off Dance plus Laurel into Melius, use Melius' effect to warning back Loci, and finally linking Melius. We can then just use Mudan here to play on Super Poly, tribute off the Loci to add Concon, use Concon to set Sheep from deck, and then link off Mudan plus Melius. So although the line I almost did there by mistake was to summon Bengal Lancer and then tribute off the Bengal Lancer, the reason not to do that, and the reason also not to tribute off the Strenna, is because although you can end on Mudan plus Bengal Lancer, you are much more vulnerable to Super Poly, taking away both your Mudan and your Strenna, which, because you need to control a Wreck of a Princess, provides you with multiple interruptions. If you're desperate for a Hyperiton negate, you can tribute off the Strenna there as well. However, typically ending on Strenna is better against cards like Evenly, and opens you up for a much more versatile turn of interruptions. So this hand does have follow-up. We have Petal, we have Regulus, we have Humid Winds, we have Bloom, we have loads of follow-up, and we have a couple of cards in extra deck left. We have power cards and extra deck left in the form of XYZs. The other thing to note with this is that if you do hit anything with Dance Peon, instead of adding back Laurel as the extender, because you're going to have the plant monster on field anyway, you can just add back a Lonefire, a Lily Borea, a Mudan, or anything you need just for additional follow-up instead of adding back that extender. And again, you can end on Hyperspell Negate and a Mudan if you'd like, but I would personally prefer ending on a Strenna, especially blind, as it's safer into cards like Evenly. Anyway, that's it for this combo. On to the next one. For our next combo, we're again starting with just Evil Seed, but this time we're doing a Cactus Bouncer line. So this starts with a slightly different startup, as we don't go for a Recycle Rosemary line. It's more optimal to go for a Recycle Dryas line with this combo starter. So we start with Normal Summon Evil, or for the Cactus line even. Normal Summon Evil Seed, use the effect, search out Bloom and Beetle, and then it's banish Beetle from hand. We activate Bloom, use the effect of Bloom, summoning Beetle, and then link, summoning Skeletal Soldier. A use effect of Beetle on summon, summon back Evil Seed, and then use Skeletal Soldier to summon back Beetle. Now we're going to link Evil Seed and Skeletal Soldier into Jasmine. Use the effect of Jasmine, tributing Beetle to summon Lonefire, then Lonefire tribute Jasmine to summon Loci. This is the same kind of line we use for our Rosa lines, with the slight difference being that we're going to get, because we don't start with Laurels and Lifegain, we get extra triggers for our Jasmine in this combo. Anyway, so we link one with Loci into Dryas, use the effect of Dryas to search Sowing, then use Sowing, summoning out Twin. Then chaining one Twin, chaining two Dryas, summoning Healer, summoning Loci, then using effective Healer to gain 300 life, going up to 8,300. Now, we're going to link off Healer plus Twin, summoning out Jasmine, then using the effect of Skeletal Soldier in Graveyard, returning Dryas to extra deck to summon the Skeletal Soldier. This means we can immediately link 3 into our Rosemary, and use the effect of Rosemary to search out Blend. We can use Blend, discarding a random card in our hand, once again, Call by the Grave, to activate Humid Winds from our deck. We can activate effective Humid to pay 1,000, putting us on 7,300, searching out Rosalina, then using Humid to gaining 500 life points, so putting us on 7,800, and then chaining one Jasmine to search, chaining two Rosemary, special summoning Rosalina, and searching out Laurel. On summon, we're going to use effective Rosalina to summon out Aromage Jasmine. This is going to enable us to get additional normal summon when we have higher life to summon our Cactus Bouncer. But we're not quite there yet, unfortunately. From here, we're going to link our Jasmine and our Lonefire into the third copy of Jasmine, then use the effect of Rosemary, tributing Rosalina, banishing Bloom to gain 1,000 life points. This puts us on to 8,800 and allows us to trigger Jasmine effect to search again, searching out Cactus Bouncer. Now we can use effect in Graveyard of Sunseed Twin, banishing Jasmine. Because we have two Jasmines in our grave, we can then reborn back another copy of Jasmine. Because we're on 8,800 life and on higher life, we can then special summon Laurel from our hand. Then link one with the Laurel, summoning out Sunavalon Dryas, and using the effect of Laurel in grave, gaining 500 life points, putting us on 9,300, triggering Jasmine to search again, searching Mudan. Also triggering Jasmine effect. So, sorry, it's chaining one Jasmine, chaining two Jasmine, allowing us to draw a card, which gives a plant extender, or in this case, we're just going to grab a non-engine card in hand. That could have also been triggered off the Rosemary. You just trigger it once during your turn to chain block one of your Jasmines. Anyway, we like it, Mudan, tributing Dryas, summoning itself, using the effect to add Concon, using Concon, effect to set from deck, grabbing Sheet. Then because we're on higher life points, we can activate Blend, banishing Blend, banishing Healer, banishing Laurel to summon out Magnolia. And finally, we can normal summon our Cactus Bouncer. And then, during our opponent's draw phase, we can then go effective Humid Winds to search, searching out a second copy of Rosalina, which we can then use, targeting Magnolia. We gain 1,300 life points, all our monsters gain 1,300 attack points, and we get to go again, chaining one Jasmine, chain two Rosalina, sorry, chain two Jasmine even, a little Jasmine this time, drawing another card, and then searching our Princess so that we have the Princess tribute with Concon. So this card will end on like 5 non-injured hand because we get 2 draws. We got a Princess and we get our full board. Next time we can always go tribute, Rosemary tribute Bouncer to banish, and then do our full setup combo because we'll have even more searches from Human and Concon. This is the line that I prefer because a lot of the lines for Cactus Bouncer we found do go through multiple copies of Rosalina, and going through only one means that you guarantee, like, no matter how many you play, because you're playing a minimum of 2, you'll be able to search second to give the Magnolia the boost. Anyway, that's it for the Cactus Bouncer line for Evil Seed. On to our next combo. here is another very important line of Loci plus Lily Borea. So, why is this so important? Because very early in the combo, as soon as we get our Dryas search, we're going to go Lily to search Regulus and immediately get a negate up, so that we're protected from Ash Blossom, Imperm on our Jasmine, we're protected from Nibiru, so we're protected from a ton of hand traps early on. It does change your combo line slightly because you've already got your machine out of deck, and you do lose the Lily Borea as an extender since it will be sending itself. So, how does this change the combo? Let's get into it. So, normal summon Loci, link 1 into Dryas, Dryas effect, search, sowing. Same start as normal. Now we'll use Lily Borea, summoning itself by equipping Loci, and then Lily Borea will send itself as cost to add Discoloseum, which will then add Regulus. And then we use the effect to summon Regulus. So it's important to note that I always summon Regulus into one of these two extra Monster Zone columns. The reason for this is through interruption, it means that we have these zones free for our dance mills or our dance level manipulation. So from here, we'll use sowing, summon twin, then chainlink 1 twin, chainlink 2 Dryas, summoning healer, and reborning back Loci. Use healer effect on Dryas, gain 300 life even. So we're on 8,300. Link 2 into Jasmine. Use Jasmine's effect, tributing twin. So instead of summoning Laurel, because we've already summoned our non-plant, we can plant lock now. So I'm going to summon Rosalina, and use Rosalina's effect to summon the Laurel. The other important thing that this does is this now replaces the Lily Borea extender we were missing before. Or we were missing because we already used Lily Borea. Now, we just link 2, summon Jasmine, and then effect of Laurel to gain, chainlink 1 Jasmine, chainlink 2 Jasmine, not adding blend, hang on a second, adding Snowdrop, and adding Princess. Now we link with Jasmine and Rosalina into Rosemary, and use the effect of Rosemary, now adding our blend. Here we can just use blend, discard a random card in your hand. The thing to note here is you can also discard the Princess. The reason you can also discard the Princess is because you're going to get an additional search for follow-up in this combo. Because you're going to get an additional search for follow-up in this combo, you can either discard one of your non-engine cards at hand, or you can opt to discard the Princess and keep your non-engine cards. So this combo you don't actually need a discard for. So we'll just send the Princess to show that you don't need the discard, and activate Winds. Because we're on higher life, we're just going to use the blend, banish it, banish Laurel, and banish Healer to fusion summon Magnolia. Then we'll link Jasmine, Magnolia into another Jasmine, and use the effect in Graveyard of Sunseed Twin to banish Rosemary, and summon back Jasmine. We can now use Winds to pay to search, searching Laurel, and now effect again, chainlink 1 Snowdrop, chainlink 1 Jasmine, chainlink 2 Jasmine, to get Rikka Petal, and Mudan the Rikka Fairy. Now we can just go either way. You can do it a multitude of ways. We'll just go effect a Laurel to summon, link into Melius, Melius effect to reborn Loci, and Snowdrop tribute Jasmine, special itself and Petal effect to search, searching Rikka Princess, use Vector Princess to special, Snowdrop target Princess or level 4s, overlay 4-hour Strenna, we can use Mudan tribute Strenna, chainlink 1, chainlink 2, we always block the bell. Mudan searches Concon, we can activate that Concon, use Hyper to equip, and overlay for our Strenna, then link into Bengalancer, set sheet from deck, and add back Mudan for next turn. So yeah, the great thing about this combo is that either you get to end... So if you didn't discard the princess and you did discard a cross-out designator instead, in this case, then we'd end up with an extra Lily Borea in hand for a follow-up. So you don't actually need the discard in this case. So you get your Regulus early on to protect, so you're protected from... Oh, move the humid ones over. So you're protected from both Nibiru, Ash on your sewing, everything like that. And on top of that, you're ending, like, on full board with follow-up. And an additional card in hand if you'd like. So, that's it for this combo. I think this is a really, really important combo and something to keep note of. On to the next one. For this next little segment, what we're going to do is I am going to draw a random hand, hence I'm shuffling the deck, and I'm going to go through my thought process with comboing with this hand. So the reason to do this is I don't want this to just be a combo guide, hence I've gone through notes and things to do, and things to think about while you're comboing. You're going to draw 5 cards, right? So as much as I can do all of the little all the combo guides with just a Loci or with Loci and 4 on engine, you're going to see 4 plank cards, or 5 plank cards sometimes, or maybe even 6 going second. And the combos and the optimal lines to play through hand traps are going to change based on the rest of your hand. Sometimes the combos themselves, like if you draw twin, you have to combo differently. So I'm going to show my thought process from a random hand, and after this hand, we're going to go through what happens when I get hand trapped. So do a hand through Shifter, through Droll, but for now, we're just going to do a random hand. So we've got Rosalina, Called By, Die, Con, Small World. This hand is obviously absolutely absurd. Yeah, so this hand is insane. There's no denying that. But we still, no matter what, start off with Unexpected Die, because even though we've got the Called By, we still just want to make sure we're playing all times through Droll. So we immediately just go with Die, into Dryas, effect to search, and add Sewing. Just because this is the best way to play through Droll, because Sewing through Droll will at least get you to multiple bodies, especially since we've hard drawn the Con, and we've also hard drawn Rosalina to get an additional extender. If we got Drolled here, we'd still be ending on Bengalancer, Strenna, Sheet, Con, additional add-backs, follow-up, everything. Even if we got, double Drolled we need to get because of the Called By. So, now that that's out the way with, what am I now losing to? The answer is, realistically, Nib. Like, Nib is the main card that I'm losing to. So I have 2 options here. I can either, just because I've got the Called By, and because they didn't use Imperm on the Dryas, which, granted, I don't think you would anyway through Die, but they have to have multiple Imperms, or Imperm plus Nib. So how do we best play around that? We could use Small World, getting rid of the Rosalina, but I don't believe that's optimal, because I would rather be Nibiru'd on the Dryas combo, and then just summon Rosalina, and then combo with the Rosalina, rather than just getting hit. Because also, I don't mind going Sewing, getting hit on my... Like, I've got Called By for an Ash. I don't mind getting Nibiru'd on the combo, because I know normal summon Rosalina is full combo. And because I've got Called By, they can't Imperm after they've used Nibiru. So we can go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. Also, if they use cards like Nibiru, one big thing I think for Plant that a lot of people do underestimate is they have less cards in hand. And even if you can only set up a 4-5, I say only a 4-5 negate board, but if you're going to set up 3-4 interruptions, because especially with Con, the deck's interruptions are so strong, you don't mind setting up a smaller board, especially since we have so much follow-up. So healer effect to gain is always important. So yeah, I'm just going to go through standard combo, because I don't see a reason not to, especially since at any point, I can always just go Small World, reveal Rosalina, and go into my, my Raika engine, because I still haven't used my normal summon. So a lot of people will Nib here, but let's say we just, yeah, we're going to resolve Jasmine, most people will typically nib on the Jasmine summon, because you don't want to let me... Getting the Laurel into rotation is a bit weird. If they're being quite targeted, then I'll link 2, summon the second Jasmine, use Laurel to gain chaining, and then they'll chain nib. But if they've done that, at that point I literally just go Small World into Ragnaraika, and then I just still full combo, because I haven't used Rosemary yet. And I just have both Jasmines engraved to get the twin banish to summon back. So we'll go chain it 1, chain 2 Jasmine. Grab our Borea. And here, because we haven't gone through anything yet, having Princess to free extend with Concon is just nice. Then we're starting off with a standard die combo. Effect Ascend. Standard. We're going to get that in a second. Grab Discolosseum, add Regulus. Linking off our Jasmine. Grabbing Rosemary grabbing Blend. And then we can just summon out the Regulus by equipping. So now, obviously, this is just kind of the standard unexpected die combo I showed before, right? Because it kind of is. My point more with showing this is, no matter what, if I'm assuming, with this hand, I'm assuming I'm playing through no hand traps. So no matter what hand I draw, if I draw a 1-card combo and it resolves, if it's going to end on a full board, like die will resolve and end on a full board, I don't need to deviate from that combo. Unless I draw a specific hand with things like Lily Boreas or Princess Mudan or just ways to play around hand traps inherently. The point is more that I'm not risking these things like Small World because the normal summon Rosalina is full combo. There's no reason to risk using things like Small World earlier than I need to. So from here, you can just continue and do your full combo pretty safely now. And then at the end of the combo, we'll set up our Concon, we'll set up our Small World. The Concon's will be setting Sheet, but because we already have Concon, the Mudan is going to be searching into a Glamour, which is going to get an additional monster, and then because we're also going to end on additional Rosalina in our hand, we're then going to be able to Small World away that Rosalina or the additional Glamour search and get into an Ash Blossom, or an additional card to support the board. Showing the rest of this combo would be the exact same as showing you the die combo, so I'm not going to go into it and show too much. But regardless, we're going to end on full board with Magnolia, and we're going to go, at the end of the combo, Small World search Ash Blossom. Now we're going to a few other hands where it's not quite as simple as me just throwing my hand on the board. We'll go into a hand where my opponent has double, Imperm Veiler card. For this next hand example, we are going to be attempting to play through 2 Impermanence with a random hand. So why do I think this is important? 1, Imperm is the hardest hand trap to play through for Plant, because Princess cannot interact with Infinite Impermanence. And 2, because we see in decks like Snake Eye, and even decks like Voiceless Voice in hand trap versions now, the 3-3-3 Imperm Mourner Veiler hand trap ratios are becoming increasingly common, so this is one of the more common hand trap combinations we have to play through. Fortunately, Plant can play through this pretty well. It's obviously hand dependent, but in general, Plant plays through it really well. With Imperm being the hardest one to interact with, I thought, okay, we'll play through 2 optimal Imperms with this random hand. And I can go through my thought process, and then after I've been Impermed, how I can continue to play through hand traps. So let's look. Immediately I've seen a brick. Rosalina, Glamour, Sowing, Laurel. So this isn't a great hand. I will fully admit straight off that this is not a great hand. But I think we can make it work. The first thing we need to consider is Droll. Because, especially since we open Samurai Beetle, this card's going to be dead pretty much immediately, because if we start with Rosalina, we're going to get locked. I think although, despite that, we still start with Rosalina, because we always have Glamour to go into Dryas underneath the Jasmine, no matter what happens. The other option here is to go Glamour, activate Glamour, search Petal, which means I instantly get access to Petal. Then I can go normal summon Petal, Petal effect to search Princess, special Princess, make Dryas, then use Sowing, which means that I'm then protected under Imperm. Sorry, protected under Ash Blossom. The then problem with that is if I do get hand trapped. Well, no, because I'm then gaining higher life, so I think that is the optimal play. Because I am going higher life, I'm going to get plant locked no matter how I really start this, unless I go straight Glamour into Princess. However, I don't think that's optimal. So we'll start off with Glamour. We're going to grab Petal, because I don't see a point in grabbing Princess initially, because I need, you're not going to get the protection effect from that. Then we can normal summon Petal, use the effect, grabbing the Princess. There's generally no point to Imperm the Petal effect as such. Then we'll use Princess, specialing, and link one into Dryas. We can then use Sowing to special from deck. Here, instead of summoning Loci, I'm actually going to special summon Sunseed Twin, because I would much rather have access to the Twin to banish from grave, even though I'm plant locked and can't use the Raika anyway. I'd much rather have access to that over having access to Melius right now. And then we'll use Dryas effect to specialing Healer, and then effective Healer to gain 300 life. From here we go Healer plus Dryas into our Jasmine, and use a Jasmine effect treating Twin. We get Impermed here. This is the first very, very easy Imperm. But it's playthroughable. Because we can, now that we're on higher life because of Healer, because you'd never Imperm the Dryas. Especially in that situation, you can never Imperm the Dryas. We still have a way to gain life and a way to gain life plus Extender here. The two options are either to go immediately into Rosemary, which would bait out another Imperm, but mean we lose to Nib much harder because we no longer have Princess in grave. So I'm going to start with Laurel, activating Laurel to special, and then simply linking into a second copy of Jasmine. And then using effective Laurel in grave to gain 500, putting me on 8,500 life, and effective Jasmine to search. Let's say that the second Imperm drops here. Because, surprisingly enough, past this point, if this search then resolves, the Imperm becomes significantly less valuable, because I then have access to my additional extenders already. So we'll Imperm here, and then unfortunately we have to play into Nib after that. So we can go Petal plus Jasmine, summon out Rosemary, and use effective Rosemary, allowing us to grab Blend. We can then use Blend, we'll discard our dead Beetle to activate Humid from deck. So we're currently on 8,800 life points. So we are currently on higher life, which means Blend is immediately live in grave. But Blend is going to be live in grave pretty much any time anyway. The thing to note here is that Sunseed Twin can any time now, because I have two Jasmine in grave, banish the Rosemary to get back one of my searches. However, I don't want to do that initially because in this game state, I think I'm valuing the Rosalina more. So I'm going to use Humid effect to search, paying 1,000 to search the second Rosalina. Then using effect to gain, and effective Rosemary to special, summoning Rosalina. Rosalina's effect summon from deck, grabbing out another copy of Laurel. So I'm on 8-3 now. So now we can go, well, quite simply, we've already used Laurel's effect in grave. We can still link 2 though. Summoning out Jasmine. And then because we have 2 in grave, we can banish Twin, banish Rosemary, summon a second Jasmine, use the effect of Rosalina in hand, target Jasmine to gain 900 life, then chaining 1 Jasmine, chaining 2 Jasmine to get double search. Here, because we already have Princess in grave, already gone through Princess, so we definitely had Snowdrop, and we're also going to want access to Concon. So we either grab Mudan or Lonefire, because I think I'm going to be using Dance Peon's effect, I'm going to add Lonefire. Just because adding Lonefire is much more versatile if I hit, let's say, a Mudan already off Dance Peon. Now, I do also have the Fusion Summon engrave if I'd like, because I'm on higher life already. However, I don't believe I need it right now, so I'm not going to use it. My two options here are either to go immediately link off these two Jasmines into a Bengal Lancer. Because I'm still, they've used two Imperms, I'm still going to end on Bengal Lancer, Teardrop, and everything that way. So I either go into Bengal Lancer, that kind of line. I can go do that kind of line by summoning back summoning my Fusion with my Blend, then going Jasmine plus going to Melius. Actually, I haven't got a Loci engrave, I can't even do that. Or I can risk going for a Dance Peon. However, because my opponent has already used two cards in that hand, and I have guaranteed follow-up from both Humid and Petal, I actually don't want to risk Dance Peon. I think I'd much rather just go double Jasmine into Bengal Lancer, use Snowdrop tributing Bengal Lancer, summon both, Lonefire tributing itself, grabbing Mudan effect grabbing Concon, using Concon to set Sheet. Like, there are valid Dance Peon lines here that will end on Strenna and then potentially end on more depending on what you hit. However, I'd much rather just have the guarantee, because they've already gone through two cards in hand, I can just use make level 8, overlay for Teardrop, reborn back my Bengal Lancer by banishing two. In this case, we'll just banish probably Jasmine, Healer, Dryas. And then just use Blend, banishing a copy of Rosalina and a copy of Laurel. Because I still want to have that additional protection because I'm ending on less interrupts. But I say I'm ending on less interrupts. It's still Teardrop, Bengal Lancer, Sheet, then with Concon Tribute and Princess Tribute. And then follow up with Humid Winds and Petal Engrave. So there's still a ton of follow up on this combo. This is one of the ways I play around Imperm, or double Imperm even. And even though this exact example will probably never come up for you, because there's a million different game states, I hope that some of the thought processes were useful and helpful. For our next hand, what I've done is I've removed the 3 crossouts and called by from my deck. And I'm going to draw a hand and play into Droll. So, just random hand, play into Droll, because I know Droll is one of the more common hand traps that Plant can struggle with. Some hands can naturally play through it, like for example drawing combinations of Princess and another Rikka, enabled before using Loci to enable the negate. However, you can't always do that. So, this hand, Die, Petal, Talents, Bloom, Princess. This hand can play around it. So this hand immediately just goes, activate Unexpected Die, to special summon, grab out Loci. We can then just go normal summon Petal. I'll activate Ragnaraika Bloom here, and use Bloom to search. Yeah, we can safely use Bloom to search here, because we can go Bloom to search, grab Evil Seed, discard Princess. Then if they choose to Droll here, you then go Effective Princess, shuffle it back, tribute Petal. Because we started with Die, we can just add back the Petal and then normal summon it later on anyway. And now we just go, they've used the Droll, then we go Talents, rip the hand, rip their last card, rip their second hand trip out, and now just full Loci combo. With normal, and we have normal summon to do extenders if we need it. So then you just go Link 1 into Dryas, and you do full Loci combo. Talents Hand Drip is the best card to see against Droll if you're not seeing things like the crossouts that we sided out. This test hand, we're going to be playing under a standby phase Dimensional Shifter. As per, I have taken out Call by the Grave from my deck, so that we don't just draw Call by and it's instantly done with. Also, I've kept Crossout in because I don't play a crossout target for Dimension Shifter, And with decks like Tempai Dragons now maining 3 copies of Dimensional Shifter alongside a bunch of other hand traps, having cross out for the other hand traps is just preferable because Concon, Sheep, Princess is already quite a lot. So your aim under Shifter is to end on Concon, Princess in hand and Sheet set with Mudan on field, and you can potentially get to Benglancer or Teardrop depending on what else you draw. So we'll have a look at a 5-card hand and see what we can do. So we've got Evil Seed, Loci, Lonefire, Imperm, Ash. So having 2 non-engine is really nice here. However, this is pretty vulnerable, especially with a standby phase Shifter. Ragnaraika the Evil Seed can't discard, or sorry, it can't send from hand to grave because it's like under Shifter, because it's like Bellstar. So with this combo, I'm wanting to start with Loci, I believe, unless I can start with Evil Seed, because if I start with Evil Seed, I can then banish Loci, then shuffle Loci back into the deck, go for a Jasmine. I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can get a Snowdrop in hand to special summon the Lonefire Blossom with Snowdrop, to try and end on a Teardrop on top of everything else. I think the best way to do this is going to be with normal summon Evil Seed, because I can then banish... No, I think it's just Loci. Then link 1. Summon Dryas, effective Dryas. Add Sowing, activate Sowing. Summon another copy of Loci. We don't summon Twin, as we want to keep Twin in deck. I forgot about the Glare on that zone, that's my bad. So yeah, use Sowing. Effective Dryas because we lost life points. Summoning Healer. Effect target to gain 300 life. Then we're going to go Healer plus Dryas into Aroma Jasmine, and use effective Jasmine, tributing Loci to grab. Here we are going to want to grab, because we're going to be wanting to special summon the Lonefire from our hand. So we'll be either grabbing a Mudan or a Petal here. Unless there's a way to summon Rosemary, because, wait, hang on. If we special summon Rosemary, or Rosalina even, we can special summon Laurel, make Rosemary, use the effect to get Humid, sorry, to get Blend to get Humid, Humid pay to search, searching out Laurel. No, because we're going to be on lower life, so yeah. The blend lines aren't as strong, unfortunately, because the blend doesn't hit grave, and Laurel can't hit grave to gain. So once you've paid 1,000 life points, it's difficult to regain the full life points to go on higher life to be able to special summon Laurel from your hand for free. So yeah, here we're going to summon Petal, use effective Petal to search. Searching out Snowdrop. We'll activate Snowdrop, tributing Petal, summoning itself, and Lonefire. Now we can use effect of Lonefire, tributing itself off, to grab from deck. So there's a couple of things we could actually grab from deck here. We are locked into plants. We can go for a Rosalina to try and get an additional monster on field. I'm just trying to think of the best way to be able to end on both Mudan and get the Princess in hand. And I'm thinking the best way to do that, instead of ending on Snowdrop, I would much rather end on a Princess in hand. Because no matter what, we're going to have the Evil Seed as follow-up. So we'll special summon Rosalina and use the effect. We are going to go through way more resources this way, but I think it's worthwhile. And summon Laurel. Because now we can go Laurel plus Jasmine into Rosemary. Use the effect to search. Grabbing Blend. Using Blend. We are going to discard the Evil Seed, but we'll have extra follow-up anyway this way. Because we're going to get the search from deck with Humid. Grab Humid. Now we can go link the Snowdrop and Rosalina off into Jasmine. Effect of Humid pay to search. Search out another copy of Rosalina. Effect again, chilling 1 Jasmine, chilling 2 Rosemary. Grabbing out our Mudan. Are we even going to summon the Rosalina here? We're not gonna use Rosemary, we're just gonna use Jasmine to search. We'll then use Effective Mudan by tributing the Rosemary. Effective Mudan will activate, grabbing Concon. Then Concon will set Sheet from deck. Grabbing Sheet. I've not played Aroma Mech Knights in this combo, but that's my bad. And then we just set Imperm Pass. So the interesting thing about this is because now we can still go Humid Effect in draw phase to pay to search. Search out our last target, which is Laurel. Then Effect again, Effective Jasmine to search. Grabbing Rikka Princess. So although we lost the Evil Seeder's follow-up, which we could have kept the Evil Seeder's follow-up, and instead of ending on Princess, we could have ended on the Snowdrop. But this way around, we end up, because we've got Ash and Imperm, and then we have both Aromas in hand, with potentially, if we don't use all our cards, we're going to get set from deck as well. We still have Jasmine and Extract to link summon into. So we have quite a bit of follow-up here, even more if you play more targets for Humid. And we still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 4 to 5 interrupts. Through Shifter, it's pretty good. We have lost some of our grind game, however, we can always gain that back, especially with Beetle shuffling back if we go for a Concon set Glamour double search next turn. However, you can make an argument in other matchups, instead of going for the Princess, ending on the Snowdrop and conserving your resources could be better. By going Lonefire, tribute itself to get Mudan, effect adding Concon, Concon set Sheet and overlay for Teardrop, and just ending on the 2 hand traps with Teardrop plus Sheet and Concon with Impermanence, rather than getting access to the Princess. Arguably, both lines could be correct. It depends on the matchup and the situation. In hindsight, if we get blind shifted, I think I would rather go for the Teardrop line though. So I think that line was slightly incorrect, but you can see things that the main idea of this is to show ways to play and what you can do underneath Shifter. We're going to draw another hand very quickly, and we're going to go in Stand by Phase Shifter again. We've yet again drawn Lonefire. We've hard drawn the Blend, but we have got the Small World. Okay, how would we play this one out? Unfortunately, I think normal summoning Lonefire, we've got the cross out to protect here, so we can normal summon Lonefire, tribute it, grab. We could just grab Evil Seed here and use Evil Seed to shuffle away the Lonefire. Oh, sorry, Evil Seed to grab Beetle, banish a card from hand and shuffle away Lonefire. But I don't think that's worthwhile. I think just going for Loci here, linking off Loci, going into Dryas, effective Dryas, adding Sowing, using Sowing special from deck. We want to keep the twin in deck again because we want it for Jasmine lines further on. So I've got to have it putting in that zone, but there's glare, so Sowing. Effective to special healer, effect to gain 300 life. Link into Jasmine, Jasmine effect special from deck. So here we've got a couple of options, especially since we do have access to Small World. And we have access to Blend. I think having access to Blend is quite important here, because we can just go... It's whether we want to do anything here. It's whether we even want to use Small World, because I'm thinking of going... So, the play I'm thinking of doing here is going Special Summon Petal, effective Petal to search Mudan. At this point, they haven't shown an additional hand trap, so I think it's safe to discard Cross Out. So we can go Blend, discard Cross Out. If you don't feel safe in this situation, you discard Ash instead and just keep the Cross Out. Grab Humid. Humid, pay to search. Search out Rosalina. Humid, gain. Effect to search. Grabs our Snowdrop. We can then use Snowdrop, tributing Petal. Summon Snowdrop, summon Mudan. Mudan effect. Grabs Concon, activate Concon, Concon set from deck. Concon will set Sheet. Snowdrop will target itself, making everything level 8 and overlaying into a Teardrop. And then we can just use Small World, get rid of the Rosalina. And in this case, what do we want? I'm trying to think what's best to add in this case. We could just keep both of these in hand. However, we're going to get Humid to search another Rosalina anyway, so we don't really need to keep this. We can either add another card for follow-up, or in this case, if we want to threaten an additional hand trap. Normally you could add like a Ghost Mourner to play Ghost Mourner, because you can't use Veiler under Shifter. I unfortunately don't play Ghost Mourner. In this example, we've already drawn Ash Blossom, so I'm going to just search Nibiru, because we will have follow-up with Humid no matter what. So I'll go Rosalina. I'm going to reveal... There's a couple of cards I could reveal here. We'll reveal Samurai Beetle and add Nibiru. I'm trying to see if there's any better bridges here, but offhand, without looking into it, I cannot see any that would be slightly more optimal, so we'll just go Samurai Beetle into Rosalina. And we pass turn there. Then during draw phase, we go Humid to pay to search. Grab out our second copy of Rosalina. Then effect again, effect to search, grabbing Princess, allowing us to end on multiple hand traps, Princess, Teardrop, Sheet, and Concon Tribute. So we're ending on plenty of interruptions with guaranteed follow-up, because we still have Laurel in deck. We still have 2 Laurel in deck, so we're having multiple cards, including the search next turn, of guaranteed follow-up through Shifter. I think the second hand was a much better example of how to play around Shifter, because as you saw in the first hand, we went through a lot more resources, so our grind game afterwards would be worse than this. Anyway, that's it for this showcase. I hope it's been useful and shown some, even if the first combo wasn't completely optimal, showed some good ideas of how to play through around Shifter. I wasn't originally going to, but I decided to add a deck profile to the combo guide. The main reason for this is because I want to show you guys the deck list that I've been using that complements this combo guide, and the engines and cores that I've been using that are displayed in it. Although I'm unfortunately yet to have any events with this deck to be able to showcase any results or tops, I still wanted to include a deck profile section into this video, so you can have a look at the deck list that does all these combos, and like some potential options. So I think, especially if you're playing the Raika package like I am, I think you do have to play 60 cards, and max out on most of your starters. Hence I play 3 Loci, 1 Sowing, 1 Twin, and 3 Unexpected Die to max out on our Loci starters. I still play Twin because Twin is really, really valuable, since I play 3 Jasmine to banish and reborn a Jasmine to get additional searches for free, which is also really, really good through interruption. And 1 Sowing because you're not really as reliant on Sowing anymore, and it's kind of terrible to draw a lot of the time. It's okay to draw in some situations, but it's too 50-50 for me. So that's it for our Loci package. For Rikkas, we play 3 Princess, 2 Mudan, 1 Petal, 1 Snowdrop for our monsters. Princess is our best extender. You need 2 Mudan for the grind game to have an extra monster to tribute with. And then 1 Petal, 1 Snowdrop is fairly self-explanatory. Generally, you don't... Petal's like the worst normal summon. You'll be summoning it from deck most of the time, but you still want to play it, because it's really good in the grind game. And then Snowdrop. I don't play Primula. Because we have so many extenders in this deck now, I feel like it's an unnecessary brick. For the spells, I still play 2 Concon, 2 Glamour, 1 Sheet. Again, these are ratios that I've played a lot in the past. Sheet Concon, especially since you're playing 60 cards, you're less likely to see Sheet plus a Rikka. Sorry, Concon plus a Rikka. But having 2 Concon in deck, especially for the grind game, is important. It's not too bad to draw either, especially into cards like Droll. And Glamour is pretty weak in hand. It's slightly better now that we have Raika Seed, because you contribute to add Raika Seed and Petal, then discard Petal, but it's still much weaker into cards like Droll and Handtraps, and it's really, really weak going second. Aside from the Tributor's cost. The Tributor's cost with Concon is obviously really, really good going second. For the Therion package, I still play 3 Borea, 1 Disco, 1 Regulus. Again, it protects your combo setting up, and it gives you a bunch of big monsters in the grind game. No real explanation needed here. Unfortunately, I've had a little bit of issue collecting my 3rd seed, and it is still with some not locals, so I'm having to proxy the 3rd copy of Evil Seed, as I've unfortunately not been able to get out and pick it up due to exam season, but 3 Evil Seed, 1 Samurai Insect, and 1 Bloom. This package, I know it adds 2 additional bricks, but they are both kind of soft bricks. This is the harder brick, but this is very much a soft brick because you can still full combo with this. And the engine being an extender, also having nice synergy into cards like Shifter, and the recursion of the Link, bouncing back your Rosemary, it just provides a lot of nice combo lines, and this is a stronger starter than Rosalina. It's not quite Loci because you do still get plant locked, but I still think it's well worth playing. And also, yeah, also especially with the Anti-nib combo. The Anti-nib combo makes this so strong. That's probably by far my favorite combo. My favorite combo is combo 9, for anyone who's wondering. I then play only 2 Rosalina, 2 Laurel. 2 Laurels necessary for the combos. Although there are a lot of 1 Laurel combos, especially through Interruption, having the second target is just very nice to have, and having the additional search that you can just extend with. 2 Rosalina. 3 can occasionally come up with things like discarding it to gain life. However, if you're conservative with them, you typically will never need 3. And also, it's a weaker starter than Raika Seed. I also play 1 Blend, 1 Humid. You don't need any more than this. Humid, because Humid is by far the best wins card, and it's part of the majority of combos, and then Blend to Fuse is just absurdly good. Then the last plant I play is 1 Lonefire Blossom. The Lonefire summons from deck. You have to play it because it's part of a lot of your Lonefire Tribute Jasmine summon Dryas combos. This card is essential to play through hand traps in quite a lot of situations. I then play 1 for 1 2 Small World. The Small World's essentially just second and third 1 for 1s. These 2 are admittedly the 59th and 40th cards. They add extenders, they add starters. Because we have more starters now, you can clog on normal summons, so you have additional monsters you can Small World away. You can add you can add extenders, so you can even add hand traps or board cards to board break. Especially when you go first, and if you make a board, if you're then able to just go on top of it Small World into Ash, although it's win more, that will flat out win you a game. Like, that just secures that there is nothing that can break that end board, which is quite important with decks like Tempai that can just break boards being pretty common. Now, for my non-engine, I play 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Droll and Lockbird, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and 1 Nibiru. I guess these are fairly self-explanatory. They're good hand traps. The idea with them is, from my perspective, because Rikka can, and just the Raika engine, and just all your engines in general, can push through interrupts pretty well, especially with options like Dryas Crashing going second. You want to use these cards to limit their end board. So if you had the option between limiting their end board, guaranteed, or potentially stopping them, but they could still full combo if they have extender, I'll typically go for the limiting board option, which is really, really strong with Droll especially. Even though I don't think Droll is the best into this format, the fact that it has that it limits their board property is just way too valuable not to play in Plant right now. For the rest of my non-engine, I play 3 copies of Crossout Designator, hence the 1 Nibiru, 1 copy of Call by the Grave, and 3 copies of Triple Tactics Talents to help push through boards. If you see one of these cards on top of combo, going first, you win, I'd want to say 90% of the time. Because even through cards like Droll, if you're able to just resolve a hand rip, you then have perfect knowledge of their hand, aside from the draw for turn. You know at least 3 or 4 cards left, and you can just time your interrupts perfectly around that. So these act as just more crossouts, Crossout obviously is absolutely absurd in this deck, so on top of having Lily, Borea, and Princess protect you for hand traps, this just kind of half the time just makes you hand trap immune, which is absurd. Going first with this deck is terrifying for your opponent, obviously, not you. So for the links, I play 1 Dryas, 1 healer, because I still don't know why he's limited, I'm going to be honest. I still have no idea why he's limited. So yeah, have to play these. The good thing is you can now, because we play the Raika links, or the Raika link singular, we can now bounce this back and do this and so if it gets Imperm, there's a chance we can do it again, which is crazy. Also then play 1 Ragnaraika Skeletal Soldier. This is for most of the Raika combos, and even outside of the Raika combos, although the main issue with it is you cannot use this and summon Regulus in the same turn. But it's still too good not to play, especially with how good it can be in the grind game. Especially you have to start with not Loci, with one of the extenders where you can't use Therions anyway. For the Aromas, I play triple Jasmine. I think 3 is essential, because as you've seen, most of the combo routes that I go down do typically use 3. And especially through Interruption, you're abusing these searches as much as you can. And you can get up, especially with the bounce now, you can get up to 5 searches from the Lifegain effect per turn. Typically, it's going to be 3 to 4 through Interruption, but hypothetically, it's 5. Then, for the rest of the Aromas, we've got 1 Rosemary, 1 Magnolia. I'd considered at points for the follow-up and grind game playing a second copy of Rosemary instead of SP. However, we now kind of get that second copy of Rosemary because we get the bounce back. So, that's no longer necessary. Yeah, these cards are very self-explanatory. These are your removal. So, in the past, back row matchups have been an issue. No longer an issue. Dance Peon, as you've seen in the combo guide, Dance isn't really used for its hits. Dance is primarily used as a level manipulation tool because we don't play Primula to help make Strenna easier. So if you don't get to Snowdrop, you're using Dance Peon to make Strenna. Then last 2 links, we're playing Melius Bengalancer. As your link climb and you're getting an extra monster with a level on field, and then Bengalancer is just your link 4. And then finally 2 Strenna Hyper Teardrop. These are all the ones you need. They do your combo, they do going second. You don't need any more than this. And for this side deck. So I play 1 Predaplant Spider Orchid. This is just a searchable out to Floodgates or Pendulum Scales, especially with decks like Lodius coming up. It's quite nice to be able to just search a third on top of your Magnolia and your Rosemary, another out to Pendulum Scales. It outs Floodgates. In the past, Floodgates like Summon Limit, but now just randomly if someone has a Gozen, or just rogue matchups. Also, outing Voiceless Voice cards is very important. Jasmine Cactus Bouncer. This is for going first. Even against more stun variants, summoning Jasmine, and then abusing the Humid Gain to just gain multiple times Humid and draw cards every turn in slower matchups is really valuable because you're gaining more non-engine. Cactus Bouncer is absurd. You can make this card through multiple hand traps, especially with the additional normal summon from Jasmine. There's not much to say about that. Also, even if you can't get out turn 1, having this in the grind game is just a stop in the grind game is really valuable. I go for a more board breakery approach in my side. So we have 3 Thrust, 3 Dark Crawler, and Duster, and also Soul Release. So this is a much more board breakery approach inside, but Plant typically and traditionally works really, really well with board breakers. Duster is just, yeah, it clears problematic cards. Thrust can search you to talents, it can search you into pretty much all of your engine cards, especially things like Unexpected Die, Blend, and then Dark Ruler is just a very good. It hits it trades well. You just want to trade positively with this card. Soul Release is just a good thrust target against Fire King because of all matchups in this meta, Fire King Snake Eye specifically. Snake Eye I've actually had no issue with. I find Snake Eye quite a positive matchup. Fire King Snake Eye can be a bit annoying because of some of the recursion in Graveyard. Soul Release from Thrust just helps with that sometimes. And then we have 3 copies of Cosmic. Just very good utility cards. Depending on your event or what you're preparing for, these can change into different utility cards, like Evenly, for example. However, I just like these as good utility cards. And the last card is a Rivalry, because Rivalry does just say win the game sometimes. I've seen a lot of people play this in main, which I think is completely valid, and you could definitely cut one of the small worlds to main a copy of Rivalry. That's the deck list that I've been playing, and I've been really enjoying. I know some of my friends have had success with. And yeah, I'm super happy with that list, and I hope it gives you a good insight on as to what list I play with the combos that I've showcased, as that is the list I've been showcasing all the combos with. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was useful. I'm hoping this was just a big repository of resources that you can refer back to any time. I know it's a big video, and it's not one that's intended to be looked at as in a whole, just sitting down for 3 hours or something running through it. But I hope it's still useful just to refer to any time. It's been a long time in the making. I've put a lot of resources into this, and yeah, if this was useful, I would really appreciate any support with a follow on my Twitch or just subscribing to my YouTube. Really appreciate it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for all your support.